and she will be talking about a very great, interesting topic, busybody, about our body, yeah, about your body. Why we should be mindful or care or concerned about what is happening in our body. Yeah. Okay. So without further ado, we can start our first talk now. But before that, let me remind our audiences today. First of all, thank you for joining our seminar. It is not easy to gather all these great women to be our speakers for today. For them to say yes is already a very thankful for me and for you, for all of us, so that we can learn a lot today in different aspects of our life from different perspective. So you can ask any question that you want through either Webex chat session or through the FB chat session. You can throw your question to the speaker who is giving the talk during her session, because we don't have a separate question and answer session at the end of all the session when all the speakers are done. No, we don't have that session. We don't have a luxury to do that because we don't have enough time. So if you have any question for that particular speaker during her talk, just throw out your question. We will try to ask as much as possible in between when the speaker is giving her talk. Okay, and every speaker, you have 30 minutes. Even though we know your topic is very interesting, but we also have a very tight schedule. So 5 minutes before we end our our session, I will just give a very humble reminder so that you know you have like 5 minutes left. And forgive me in advance that sometimes I have to stop you in between if there is a burning question from the audience to ask you, yeah, during your talk. So with that, I would like to welcome, highly welcome our first distinguished speaker, Professor in Senior Dr. Nur Aisha Sadina Amin, a professor of reaction engineering, head of the Chemical Reaction Engineering Group, or what we call here in UTM CRAC, at the School of Chemical and Energy Engineering, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. We are based in Johor Bahru, at the southern side, of the West Malaysia, and her expertise is in applied catalysis, reactor design and modeling, and also reaction engineering. She is the fellow of Academy Science. So Anina, she is part of us, but she is the senior one. Yeah, the fellow of Academy Science of Malaysia and fellow of the Institute of Chemical Engineers Institute based in the UK. She was also the winner of the Malaysian Research Star Award under the Outstanding Research on Global Warming and International Research Collaboration categories in year 2017 and 2018, respectively. So she served as the editorial advisory board for Energy Conversion and Management Journal, and besides for other different journals and publication mediums. And she also received the fellowship under the MIT in the US, the university, and also UTM for the Sustainability CT program in year 2012, besides receiving a Fulbright scholarship at the University of Kentucky in 2019. So with that, I would like to really welcome our professor to start her talk. And to audience, don't be shy. If you need to ask anything from her, you can always throw out your question again in the WebEx or Facebook chatting box. So please welcome Professor Asha.
Thank you, Dr. Amin. So let me, what happened? The sound. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Can I hear?
Yeah, very clear.
Okay, right, good. Thank you for the nice introduction. So Associate Professor Dr. Mimi is my colleague, but not so long time ago, she was my student. Okay, so I'm also not that young anymore. See, my student already grown up, okay, and already achieving so many accomplishments herself. So when she first invited me to give, to share, okay, to give this talk, I was quite reserved in the first time because I've not done this. Um, but Dr. Mimi convinced me that you can share. She said, just sharing. So I thought that why not, just to give me a break from those mundane jobs, yeah, the routine jobs, giving lecture, doing research. So here I am today with this sharing session. Okay, so I'll share a little bit my experience so far. I've been working with UTM for the last close to 35 years now, and perhaps I have something that that I could share with young people, okay, or not so young people. So this is the title. Pretty long, it's a mouthful, but we're looking at maybe the life strategies or probably the priority settings and also mindfulness. Okay, so this is the outline of my talk. Yeah, we'll start with just the introduction and then about these life strategies, priority settings, mindfulness, and also the successful researcher, if so-called the successful researcher. If I people regard me as a successful researcher, then that's very good. So I will share some tips, yeah? And at the end, I will have a surprise for everybody, okay, before I end the session. Right, okay, so now, of course, yeah, the definition, women, yeah? Who are we? Okay, so we are, physically, yeah, our build up is smaller than men, right? Usually men is there are taller, okay, more masculine, okay. Perhaps also most of them are stronger than us. And then from our anatomy, okay, the big difference is that we can bear children, yeah, because we have womb, right? And we also have breasts, right? So that we can feed the children. So we are different from them, from the men. Okay, and emotionally, okay, I think most of us, yeah, we are very sensitive, right? Anything that touches our heart, we can cry, right? We are more caring, and not to say that the men are not caring, but we are more caring, right? We have motherly instinct, yeah. So if we see something, we have that. Even as a girl, okay, we have that motherly instinct. And of course, we are complicated, yeah. We are complex creatures of God, yeah. So in this time, okay, these modern times, yeah, most of us are career minded. Okay, we are not like our mother or our grandmother like 50 years ago, 70 years ago. So most of us um, are career minded. We are modern, but at the same time, we also want to uphold all the integrity, right? Our integrity as a human being. So we want to be like Wonder Woman, yeah? At least Linda Carter. So how to be a Wonder Woman? Okay, so on this slide also I share the quote by Michelle Obama, says that there is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. So we can see that, of course, in this world there are a lot of successful women. So we are just now looking at how to maybe for the young researchers or for those who is just starting their career, right? How to achieve that type of excellence or that success. Okay, so excellence is an outstanding feature or quality. So with excellence, you are regarded as successful, right? So for excellence, yeah, you should have passion, okay? That means you should love what you do. For example, if you are a lecturer, okay, you love to teach, you love to meet students. So with passion, you can be excellent. And then you always want to do the best, okay? You are very competitive. And then you can communicate very well. Okay? You can express your thoughts with your colleagues, with people around you. You have ideas, lots of ideas, okay? And then you are self-motivated. And then you are inspired, you can give inspiration, you can inspire people, you are also inspire yourself. And then you have a good vision, okay? What you're gonna do in the future, what you're gonna achieve in the future. And you want to okay, uh, let me see if I can, okay, yeah, I can go back. You can also have this innovation, right? Innovation in everything, actually, not only in your career, but also in your life, right? How to do the innovation. Okay, so a working woman, that's the problem, okay, with us, because we, okay, when we are trying to be excellent, when we're trying to be successful, we have some other jobs, not only doing just housework, but we want to manage, both work and home equally, okay, so that we can be how to say that, but so that we can get what should a woman get, right? And then we also usually we want to monetize our goals, right? Even if we do business from home, if we are entrepreneurs, we want to do that. We want to get some money, okay, for living, yeah, we need that. And then a working woman also should know how to juggle, of course. And this I cannot emphasize more how hard it is. Okay, so we have to do this juggling. Okay, so now I'm coming to this part, okay, the excellence thing, how we want to achieve the excellence. That means we should have the mission, okay, and then we should also have the goal, right? So the life strategies, the priority settings, the mindfulness. So in this sharing session, I thought that this is from my own experience, okay? What I have done maybe for the last 30 years, okay? So we grow, okay, and then we develop. Uh, I grow and I develop. And from just the experience, from reading, from interacting with people, I can say that these are the three important things that we should look at, or we should pay attention to if we want to achieve excellence. Okay, so we have right life strategies. We should also have priority settings, and of course, mindfulness. Okay, life strategies. Okay, so we know that we have to have a balanced life. Okay, so we have to be balancing towards wellness and goals. So of course, yeah, most of us are career women and we have work to do, but we should not always just do our work without any time to exercise, to play. So this is also important, okay, for our health, for healthy mind, for a healthy mind, we should do that. And of course, the relationship, right? We have a lot of relationship that we should take care of. For example, with family, with our with our husband, with our children, of course, also with our colleagues, bosses, people who are under us. So we should also have that good relationship, right? Not all the time good, but at least we should be talking to them, okay? And family and friends, and we always seek their friendship, yeah, their support. So that is the thing that we should do. We should balance towards wellness and also our goals. So how to achieve, yeah? How to achieve this work-life balance? I think everybody is also aware, yeah, that you should set your priorities. Okay, you should always think which one that you should do today. Okay, what you should do today, what you should do tomorrow, and so on. So you every day, perhaps you spend about a few minutes to set your priorities. You have your short-term goals, you have your long-term goals. Okay, so you want to do that. And then you should also manage your time properly. It's not easy, yeah? It's always easier said than done. Me, myself, okay? very difficult to manage time. And this when you set your priorities, actually you are trying to manage your time, because there's so much things, yeah, to do within that 24 hours. But of course you need your sleep also, right? People say 8 hours of sleep to maintain your beauty, right? So that's also important, yeah. And then, yeah, because you are so the work is so demanding, right? People want you, okay, asking you to do this, asking you to do that, and so you have to say no, okay? You have to you know how to say when or how to say no. But when you say that no thing, try to say it with a smile, okay? So that the other person who is asking for that favor or for that help is not hurt, yeah, with you. You say, no, I don't want to do that, okay? So sometimes I'm also like that, yeah. I'm also very, very hard, and I say, no, I don't want. So that's create a lot of problems also for me. Okay, try to make friends with your job, okay? So people always say, love what you do or do what you love, okay? So it's um it's actually, I think, better if you love what you do. Okay, so because if you do what you love, sometimes what you love also is not good. Okay, it's not going to bring you some monetary goals, for example. And of course, there's schedule in the fun. Yeah, it's not easy. I myself also, you see, when I'm really tense, when we have a date, when we have jobs that is due. So how can we schedule in fun? But let's try, okay? So that we can have this balanced life, and we're not so stressed, because stress is not good. Yeah, I've also experienced this because when you have stress, when you are stressful, then you have all these problems with health, yeah? Especially when you have the hypertension. Yeah? We don't want to do that. Okay, so priority settings, yeah, of course. As a woman, yeah, working woman, even if you are working from home, as I mentioned, yeah, we have our own goals, and but we should always have these priority settings. For example, yeah, if you are you have a religion, yeah, for example, like as a Muslim woman myself, yeah, so I try to have a good relationship, yeah, with my God, with Allah. Okay, try means it's not also easy. Okay, so also with family, yeah, it's very important that that this family, yeah, our family is always our priority. Okay, because it's no use to be a successful woman, for example, but our children are not doing good, not doing well. Okay, lots of problems, so we don't want to do that. So of course that we want to have a priority uh, for our God, for our family, for our work. Okay, and then I want to share something. Okay, that is that I read. I'm sure a lot of people, yeah, all of you have read, yeah, books, yeah, for example, like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So those are the good books. So let me just share something. Okay, this is the 10 Laws of Life. Life strategy. So I read this book around maybe about 20 years ago, and I thought that it's relevant, okay, in my life. Okay, sometimes I do look at this. I do go back to this book and try to read it again. Okay, maybe not all, but some parts. But just a summary. Okay, there are these 10 laws of life. So let me share. Okay, the life number one, okay, is that you either get it or you don't. Okay, you either get it or you don't. Okay, life law number two, okay, you create your own experience. What do you want? What do you want in your life? Okay, what do you want as a career woman? What do you want as a young researcher? So you create your own life. Okay, life law number three is people do what works. Okay, so if this thing doesn't work, don't do it. Okay, try to do what works, because that's what people do. Okay, life law number four, you do not change what you do not acknowledge. For example, if you have some weight problems, let's say you are overweight, 80 kilogram, and your height is 5 feet like me. So if you don't think you are fat, you're not going You're not going to change, right? You're not going to do dieting. You're not going to exercise, okay? So you do not change what you do not acknowledge, okay? Life law number 4, life rewards action. Okay, so if you do good to others, others will do good to you, something like that. Okay? Life law number 6, there is no reality, only perception. It's not easy, yeah? There's no reality, yeah? Only what perception. Yes, Mimi? Okay, no problem, yeah? Okay, life law number 7. Life is managed. It is not cured. Okay, so this is what we do. Okay, we manage our life. Okay, that's why we set priorities. Okay, that's why we have our goals. Life law number 8, we teach people how to treat us. That's important. Okay, so let's say sometimes, you feel that some people are very rude with you. Okay, so maybe it's us that is rude first or something like that. Yeah, so we teach people how to treat us. Life law number 9, this is also very important. Yeah, there is power in forgiveness. Just let go lah. No need to think about it. Okay, just forgive lah. Forgive and forget. So there is power in forgiveness. Okay, and life law number 10 is that you have to name it before you can claim it. Let's say I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I want to make $1 million this year for my company. Okay, so you have to do that. So that you can claim. So these 10 laws of life, I want to try to practice it. Okay, but not so easy. So it's just at the back of my mind usually when I'm down. Okay, also if I'm just not motivated. So I go back to these 10 laws of life, and I thought that I want to share it with my audience today. Okay, so priority settings. Okay, so we have to do this. Okay, so we have this quadrant. That means the quadrant. Okay, so we can show this pointer, laser pointer. Okay, so this quadrant number 1 is it is important. Okay, so urgent and important, right? So this is important, the y-axis, and this is urgent. Yeah, so we have manage short-term crisis and problems. Usually this one we want to avoid, yeah, important and urgent. So sometimes usually for us lecturer, our head of department say, oh, I want this, I want you to do the curriculum, the syllabus, revise the syllabus. So it's urgent, it's important and urgent. Due yesterday, your boss all likes to say that, due yesterday. So this, we want to minimize that. Okay, this one is very important, right, for us to have this strategy. It's long-term strategic goals. It is important, but it is not urgent. Okay, so you want to do this, spend a lot of time, okay, to have the to decide, okay, what you want to do in the next 5 years, to do in the next 10 years, to do in the next 20 years. So I told you that I've been working for about, I think, more than 30 years. I started in 1986. Now it's 2021. So it's 35 years already I've been working. So believe me, it's like time really flies. Yeah. So you should actually try to strategize maybe every 5 years. Yeah. And then you revise your goals and then do it for the next 5 years. Okay, this one is not important. And this one is not important, but maybe urgent, right? Okay, not important, not urgent. Okay, so this is not important, not urgent. So it's time wasting activities. Yeah, so try to limit it. You don't want to do that. Okay, reduce it, and then avoid this one. It is urgent, but not important. Okay, this also you want to avoid, okay, because this is distraction and interruptions. Okay, so now we come to the part of this mindfulness. Okay, this is also another thing that us as a woman, okay, as a career woman, we want to have this. Also, we want to practice this. Actually, mindfulness is a skill. Actually, okay. So we want to have the mindfulness to practice that because we want to look at life. Okay, so it is like this. Mindfulness is like observing your life as it is happening, enjoy it, noticing thoughts as they arise without the need to buy into them. Okay, observe, notice, allow feelings to exist without letting them drive your actions. Okay, and then taking action based on your determination, not on old habits or short-term convenience. Accepting your current situation without judgment. Okay, so okay, we accept. Okay, we accept what. See, let's say we tried to ask for promotion and then we did not get it. So okay, never mind. Okay, maybe next time I'll try again. I will improve myself. And then accepting where you are, but okay with not settling for it. Okay, so just like this example just now, I asked him for promotion. I said the boss said, "No, you are not good enough." Okay, never mind. I will not go. It's not the end of the world, right? So I want to try next time. So you ask what they want, okay, and then you plan for that. Okay, so this mindful benefits actually very important because you can reduce anxiety, for example, yeah, lower stress, ignite senses and increase pressure, help in sleeping, provide clear focus and concentration, provide mental clarity, cultivate deeper relation, okay, give peace of mind, improve physical health, unnecessarily worrying. We like to worry a lot, don't we? We as women, yeah, improve self-esteem, and also we can reduce anger, jealousy. Tell me about it, right? Jealousy and also pride. So these are the mindful benefits. So mindful benefits is actually, as I mentioned, is a skill, right? And we need to practice it. It's not easy, but it is very important. It has a lot of benefits, yeah? Mostly for your for health benefits, yeah, body and also mind. Okay, so this is also something that you have seen also, right? These rock, pebbles, and sand story. Both jars are full, but which jar utilize the best? And what is the story and the meaning behind it? Okay, so we have here big rock first, and then why? Because big rock means the most important project and thing. So fill up your jar with that big rocks, yeah. And pebbles second, smaller stones, yeah. Pebbles means the things in your life that matter, but that you could live without. And the sand, okay, the sand is the third. Sand means the remaining filler things in life and material possessions. Okay, so it's like once you fill up your jar, you can see that there's still space. Yeah, there's always room for coffee with a friend. Yeah? Ask your friend, call these friends, call that friend. Yeah, you can just use this WhatsApp now in Malaysia is very famous. Yeah, we like to WhatsApp our friends. Yeah. Okay, so now I come to the last part of my sharing, yeah, about the successful researcher. Okay, so a successful researcher is someone who is all these things, yeah, all these. They are curious, they are maybe practical, they are inventive, honest. So of course, yeah, very important that you report something in the lab. Okay, it's your true results. Yeah? A successful researcher is also someone who is active, effective, cost effective. Yeah, don't buy and everything that you want. All those glasswares, all those chemicals. Logic, efficient, and also curious. Okay, so now I'm sharing my own experience on tips on how to work smart. Okay, because we have only 24 hours in our life. Okay, uh, get yourself a mentor, right? After this, one of our speakers is going to talk about that. So I'm glad that we have the speaker. The next one, yeah, get yourself a mentor is very important. So this mentor no need doesn't have to be just one mentor. Okay, you can have your mentor for your cooking, your mentor for your research, your mentor for your teaching. Okay, so it also need not be older than you. Okay, Younger ones, also younger lecturers, younger colleagues can also be your mentor. Yeah, for example, we have our mentor who is good at cosmetic business. Yeah, we have like Siti Hamida, Dr. Siti Hamida, Cik Manggis, yeah, Dr. Marani. I am just impressed with their business skills, yeah, and how they juggle between business and lecturing. Yeah. We have also Professor Sylvia. Okay, she is a very practicing engineer, right?
Cik Manggis is listening to you now.
Oh, networking, okay, it's very important that we have networking. Okay, you cannot just stay and work within your own people, within your own area. Okay, try to network as much as you can. Like for example, our dear Dr. Mimi, she has all the networks all over the world. From this global network, she has achieved a lot of things. She did not just stay in UTM, because if you just stay in UTM, you're not going to go anywhere. And it's very difficult, yeah, not to if you don't network. Okay, always ask for help. Don't be shy to ask for help. So that's me. Yeah? I always try. Okay, I always ask for help. If I don't know anything, I will ask. So there are always people knock on their doors. Yeah, there are also always people who will help you. Keep a journal is important. Okay, so that you know. Okay, you know what you have done before. You know what you're going to do next week or tomorrow, and so on. Use technology, of course, right? You try to use this whatever you have. You say like Google timetable. I'm not so good, but I'm trying to learn. Okay, to use the technology. Delegate. Okay, delegate a lot of things because you cannot do everything. Okay, but most important, when you delegate, you must monitor. Don't just leave. Don't just leave, because it's going to create problems later on. Okay, so I'm going to end my sharing session with a poem. Okay, this is an ABC poem. It's anonymous. Okay, I found it on the internet. I first found it when I was struggling to do my PhD. Okay, I was in the US. It took me so long to do my PhD, and I was really down, and a lot of problems. Yeah, that's life. Yeah, life is complicated. So I found this poem, and I would like to share it with you this afternoon. Okay, so it is an ABC. It's called an ABC poem. Okay, so let me try. Okay, this is my first time also reciting a poem. So this is the other side of me. Yeah, maybe the artistic side of me. Okay. A, avoid negative sources, people, places, things, and habits. B, believe in yourself. C, consider things from every angle. D, don't give up and don't give in. E, enjoy life today. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow may never come. F, family and friends are hidden treasures. Seek them and enjoy their riches. Give more than you plan to. H, hang on to your dreams. I, ignore those who try to discourage you. J, just like Nike, just do it. K, keep trying, no matter how hard it seems. It will get easier. L, love yourself first and most. Okay, very important. Love yourself and make it happen. N, never lie or cheat. Always strike a fair deal. O, open your eyes and see things as really are. P, practice makes perfect. Q, quitters never win and winners never quit. R, read, study, and learn about everything important in your life. S, stop procrastinating. T, Take control of your own destiny. You understand yourself to better understand others. We visualize it, just like the 7 habits of effective people, right? Visualize it. W, want it more than anything. X, accelerate your efforts. Y, you are unique of all God's creation. Nothing can replace you. Z, zero in your target and go for it. Okay, so with that, I leave you with another quote. Yeah, productivity is never an accident. It's always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. And happy Women's Day, woman, W, wonderful wife, O, outstanding friend, M, marvelous daughter, A, adorable sister, and N, nurturing mother. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much to our Professor Nasa. Uh, your talk almost gave me tears because it's so good and I feel like it's so connected to us, like how to bring the best out of ourselves, the best version of ourselves to be a better person is very motivational. And I'm quite surprised because I never experience you giving such kind of talk. You always talk about your nano reaction kind catalysis. So wow, you have a talent in this also. So maybe perhaps you can consider this as your new career after you are retired. So I was wondering, maybe one question from me, but not so long. I mean, maybe just a quick answer from you. How do you feel, for some women who feel that they have to put on hold a plan to get married or even to have baby, to develop a family when they just started their career, or maybe perhaps when they do their PhD, so that they can really focus and excel first, and then they can start thinking about about their other part, other aspect of their life, especially in building a family. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah. See, we as women, okay, so as I mentioned in my earlier when I in my slide, one of my few the earlier slides, that our anatomy, right? We can bear, we should be bearing children, and we have this biological clock. So for a woman, it's important that when we want to have a family, it's between probably 20 to 30 years of our age. Yeah, probably now we as a career woman we want to put whole maybe 35 max. I think 35 you should, by 35 you should get married, because you only have like, if you get married at 35, okay, you only have about maybe 5 or 6 years to produce. Okay, so that's nature, right? But if you like married around maybe 25 years old or 26, then when you have give birth, then you have like about 10 years, yeah, to give birth, yeah, maybe 4 or 5 children, 1 or 2, it's you to decide. But if you ask me, I think we should, as a woman, I think we should have balance. That means we want everything. We want the family, we want our career. So this is where planning is important, and of course priority. Okay, so let's say if you want to, if you are married at this very young at a young age, maybe at 25, you're doing your PhD. So you put whole your planning to have children.
Yeah,
Maybe okay, so you said 30 years old, but you must be conscious,
yeah,
of your biological clock,
betul betul.
because we have that
Yeah,
we have that constraint.
true true true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. Okay, Mimi, thank you.
Thank you so much, our professor. Yeah, and thank you so much also for making it, done within the time given. Perfect, 2:25. So with that, thank you so much again. And let's move to our second speaker. Yeah. So our second speaker also is a very special person to me because I've met her in, I don't remember, 5 years ago. Yeah, for the first time during our annual grand meeting of Global Young Academy in Canada, I think the first time I met her, because I missed the first one in Chile because I gave birth. That's what Professor Nasa said. We have to balance. I want to breastfeed my baby at that time, and I said no, not to attend the first annual grand meeting at that time. So she is a very special friend of us. She is Professor Anina, the head of the Perception in Action Research Center from the Department of Cognitive Science at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. I mean, I think she's not like from her background, she's not like us. She's not from the engineering department, but this area is very, very relevant to us. Cognitive, things like that. Maybe social. I'm not sure. She will clarify that to us further when she start her talk afterward. She is a successful researcher, and she has a lot of publications, including in Nature. Wow, her first paper goes to Nature. Wow, yeah, and the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. And she is like me, an alumna because we are already old of the Global Young Academy, and she is very passionate about social justice and equality. So with that, Anina, you can start your talk now.
Thank you, Mimi. It's very nice to be invited to speak in this lovely event. I'm ready to learn a lot, and hope that my humble offering will give you something in return. I'd actually like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I sit, which I'm on Gurungai land. The First Nations people of Australia never gave up their land. It was taken from them. And so I would like to acknowledge that and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I thought, similarly to actually the previous speaker, when Mimi first asked me, I was like, oh, I don't know what I would talk about. And then as I was thinking about it, something that comes up a lot, I think particularly when we're considering International Women's Day, how far we've come and perhaps how far we've got to go, that mentoring can really make a big difference. So I thought that perhaps it would be worth talking about oh, let me just double check. Sorry. Are you which of my slides are you seeing, Mimi? Are you seeing the slide share?
Yeah, I can see the first page of your slide, the title and your name.
Okay. Not the notes screen.
No. You're doing great. I mean, yeah.
Just checking. It's a different platform, so I just wanted to double check that. Okay. So I thought that mentoring might be a good topic to talk about. So here's my outline of what I thought we'd talk about. We'll talk about what is a mentor. I'm going to focus on good mentors and why they're important to have. Assuming that you might want to have a mentor, how might you go about getting one? We'll talk about whether the gender of your mentor matters and when it can be most useful. And then I thought we can also end with how can you be a good mentor? And probably many people already are. We already heard that first speaker was Mimi's supervisor a long time ago, she said, and is already and is still supporting Mimi, obviously. So, how each of us can aspire to being a good mentor. And it does take time. So is it worth the effort? All right. So just
Anina,
yeah.
Is it okay with you? Because some of the audience requested that you turn on your video. I don't know why, but maybe they want to look at you while you are giving talk. But I think you dress properly, so you can turn on your camera. It's okay.
Sorry, Mimi, my camera is on. I assumed you could see me.
We cannot see you. We only see your name, Anina Rich. Yeah.
Oh, that might be an IT issue because mine says that it's on.
Okay. It's okay then. It's okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm very happy to be seen. I'm here expecting that you can see me. It makes it much easier to understand somebody when you can see them. Does your tech person have any ideas?
Syafiq, kenapa dia punya muka, why we cannot see Anina? Is there something that we can do from our side or is from her side? I mean, can we do anything about it, Syafiq? Or maybe it's the lagging, the internet problem?
Dah tekan start video ke? Do you have click the start video button?
Have you clicked on the start video button?
Yes, it says that the video is playing now.
Yeah. But still,
Okay, maybe the connection issue.
apa dia?
Shows
Maybe the connection issue.
Oh, connection issue. Okay, I understand. Then something that we cannot control. It's okay, Nina. You can continue. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe what I'll do is in between I can stop sharing my screen and then we can have a little discussion. I will maybe not talk for as long because it's not so exciting to see slides. Okay, am I right to keep going? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not an expert in the field of mentoring in terms of that's not what I do my research on. I do my research on how the brain works. I'm interested in how attention works and how the senses work. But what I thought I'd do is give you a definition for the type of relationship that I'm talking about. Essentially, a good mentor is someone who is more experienced than you in a particular area, who shares their experience and knowledge, provides guidance, is supportive, and essentially has your best interests at heart. So that person, therefore, is looking out for your benefit in the discussions that they have with you. So a mentor can be someone who's a source of guidance and advice, but also just encouragement and support. It can be someone who provides you with opportunities and contacts and connections to others. I think most importantly, it's someone who will listen to you and has enough experience that you feel like you respect what they might guide you to do. But that doesn't mean you always have to agree with your mentor. Essentially, a good mentor is someone you can trust and rely on, someone who's good at the thing that you're trying to learn or that you aspire to be. So I think mentors are important to have because they can really give us different perspectives on challenges. And so it might be someone within your field. So for instance, your supervisor who might guide you to, where's the best place to publish your work, how to prioritize, how to supervise if you're starting to supervise your own students, which opportunities to take and which of them you actually need to say no to because that's not a priority or it's not the best way of using your time. It could be guidance in what research to pursue. But it's also really useful to have mentors who are outside your field, mentors who can give you more broad general career advice, who can be, show you what it might look like to balance life and work and give you a different perspective on what's important. And so these mentors can act as a sounding board for your ideas and your big decisions. And I agree with the first speaker that you don't have to just have one mentor. You might have different mentors for different areas of your life. And in particular, although your supervisor is probably your first mentor, it's really good to have someone outside your direct mentor too, because it can be good to have someone who is not directly affected by the choices that you make. So when you make a choice as a student, it does affect your supervisor. Whereas somebody who's independent can maybe give you a good balance of that. Importantly, as I said, you don't always have to agree with your mentor or follow their advice. Mentors also give you someone to call on for reference letters and feedback on papers and grants. It's someone who might encourage you or nominate you for awards. And it can be someone to tell you the truth, even if that's actually a bit uncomfortable. So it could be, actually applying for this award might not work because of these reasons. Instead, you should work on that paper that you've been putting off because that will get you closer to where you want to be. But in that context, always to still be encouraging. Okay, so at this point, you might be thinking, well, that sounds like a great idea to have more than one mentor, but how do I go about it? I had to think about this and I thought, well, essentially, at the start of it, you need to work out what you want that mentor to be mainly for. And then look out for someone you think does that really well. So to start with, it might be your supervisor or advisor, but it doesn't have to be. Now, I've been incredibly lucky to have really great mentors in my life. And my strongest academic mentor was my PhD supervisor, Professor Jason Mattingly. Only when I was his student, he wasn't a professor. He was a research fellow who was now I realise, quite young and just starting out. To me, he seemed very senior indeed. But he has been a fantastic mentor throughout my career. And to give you an example of what this means, it's not just, well, so first of all, it's all of the excellent training in all of the aspects of research that one might need, but also providing opportunities. So, for example, when his partner had their first child, he'd been invited to give a symposium at an international conference. And instead of just turning the invitation down, despite the fact I was only a first-year grad student at the time, he said to them, "Oh, my graduate student's fantastic. She'll come and give the talk," and organised for me to give that. He helped me to write a grant to get a postdoctoral fellowship at Harvard Med School with my second mentor, Professor Jeremy Wolfe. And so by helping me develop those skills and training me explicitly, but also by actually providing those opportunities. And even now I contact Jason when I've got a difficult decision to make or to talk about things. Jeremy was a different type of mentor, very different. And yet we still are in touch. He's actually currently on one of my grants as a collaborator. And both of them have continued to be really supportive throughout my career. At the same time, there are other mentors who might not have nearly as formal a role in your life. And for me, Emerita Professor Lynn Robertson has been one of these. She actually was one of my thesis examiners. But then at a conference, she made time to meet up with me to have a coffee and talk about research and a career. And having a senior woman take an interest in a lowly grad student, as I felt I was at the time, made a massive difference. It gave me confidence and, the idea that, wow, there's female professors out there, I can do this. And then when I had kids, I needed to seek out mentors who had different experiences. And so I sought out the wonderful Lindsay Nichols, who is a professor in the department that I'm in now, because I knew that she was part-time due to having kids and had still made it to being professor. So I thought, well, if she can do it, it must be possible. And I'm really happy now that I did that, because I still only work 4 days a week. My kids are now in primary school, but I did get promoted to professor. So clearly, not only was it possible for Lindsay, but it's possible for others as well. Now I probably have more peer mentors. So other academics who I talk with. I've got a wonderful network through being part of the Global Young Academy, where I was lucky enough to meet Mimi and many other wonderful people.
Start video.
Sorry, is that a question? Is someone asking a question? Or is it just unmuted somewhere?
Please mute your speaker, guys. Unless you are Nora Surya. Sorry, very sorry. Please mute your.
And so now I feel like I've got my senior mentors and I've got this network across the world. Each mentor really fulfills a slightly different role. So I would say you can seek out mentors for many different aspects of your life, and they'll also some will pass through and some will be there permanently. Okay, what about if you want to get someone other than your supervisor? How do you go about it? Well, it's not really the same as, it's not the sort of thing that you can just turn up and say, would you like to be my mentor? Particularly if it's someone that you don't already have some contact with. It's really important to take care to make sure that your approach is highly specific. Why are you contacting this person in particular? Essentially, mentoring has the potential to be a long-term relationship. So you wouldn't turn up next to someone and say, hi, do you want to be my friend forever? Well, okay, maybe you would, but it generally starts a bit better off if you're starting with a request for a brief chat rather than a commitment for a long-term relationship. So one of the things that I get quite a lot of is emails from students, potential students or postdocs from overseas. And this is an example where approaching someone with a very specific request is much more successful. If I get an email that says, I would love to have a position in your lab because I think your work is interesting, here is my CV, that suggests that that person contacted many, many people and I am just one. Contrast that with a contact that says, Dear Professor Rich, I've read this paper of yours and I was really interested in what we said about this, and that is very much in line with what I would love to study for my PhD. And, you know, here are all the reasons why I think your lab would be the ideal fit and why I would be good for your lab. I'm much more likely to get back in touch. And that holds also with mentoring. If it's just, I need a mentor and you seem to be okay, that's probably not going to work as well as something specific that really highlights why you're approaching that person.
That's a very good point, Anina.
Have some specific questions about the areas that you think this person is great at in particular, so that when you're having that chat, it's quite clear what it is. You've got some structure around that. And then after that brief chat, follow up via email. So outline what you found useful about the discussion, and ask if you can meet again. You need to be proactive. It has to be driven by the mentee. So, you know, make contact, follow up, and show your appreciation of their time. Now, there's a tricky question here about whether or not the gender of your mentor matters. And I would say yes and no. So the most important thing is whether or not they genuinely care about you and your career, whether they'll support you or whether they'll see it more as a competition, and whether they have skills that you admire and aspiring to. So I think mentoring is a wonderful opportunity for men to help equalise things. So let's not rule them out of the picture. But it is true that there are some things that a woman might feel more comfortable talking to another woman about, or that you feel that a woman mentor might have had more experience with the challenges that you might be facing. Now, recently there was an outcry when there was a paper with a pretty dubious methodology, it must be said, claimed that having women as mentors was actually less effective for female students and early career researchers than having men as mentors. Now, in the resulting flurry on social media, I was really touched to see that one of my postdoc fellows got on highlighting how beneficial it had been to have me and my female colleague as his mentors. But the core question remains, does it matter? It shouldn't. We all know that. And certainly the passion, care and dedication many women pour into their mentoring suggests that their mentees will flourish. And so I guess the key point here is whether or not you're willing to let society define what you see as successful mentoring. So it is true that there are societal biases across science that make men more easily achieve what's defined as success. And these are the claims that, these are sort of the bases that have been used to claim that young women should seek out a male mentor. But I would say that gender is in no way the most important criterion, okay? I think having diverse mentors is valuable. So if you can discuss things with a senior person who happens to be male, great. There may be opportunities that open up through that contact that would not be offered through other means. And as I said, I've been very fortunate in having some senior male colleagues who have influenced my career greatly. But it's also academic women who have had a big influence. So Lynn Robertson's encouragement, as I told you about, that early in my research career was really influential. We actually stayed in touch sporadically, and when I got a position, I invited her to visit my lab, and then she gave a talk, and I was able to introduce her to my students and postdocs, which then enhanced their network. When I was in Harvard, I closely observed how Nancy Canwisher ran her lab. She's an incredibly successful cognitive neuroscientist at MIT, and I've taken lessons from how she did things. And there's a number of women who have really influenced me, as have many strong women outside academia. So I think we need to have people who do share backgrounds with us, whether that's personal or gender or professional, and we need people who don't, so that we can get different perspectives on things that challenge us. So when can mentoring be useful? I would say at every level. You might have some mentors that stay for a long time, others only for a particular period. And I thought I'd just quickly show you a few mentoring programs that I've been involved with that have helped, I think, at different levels and taught me a lot. So for high school students, for example, Macquarie has a Leap Up mentoring program where university students mentor high school students from refugee backgrounds. And this has been incredibly successful in inspiring students to consider university when they may not have otherwise tried to get there, and supported them to do so. I've been involved in setting up some mentoring programs for undergraduates where they have one-on-one mentoring with an academic. So our Making Connections program is for students from refugee and asylum seeker backgrounds, and our Warrenara program mentors high-achieving Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students and provides them with sort of the social and academic capital that having an academic as your mentor can provide. For postgraduate students, obviously, supervision is a major part of your mentoring and the mentoring that you do. So this is my most recent graduating PhD student, now Dr. Lena Teichman, who's at a postdoc at the National Institutes of Health in the US now. And I think this is a really valuable and important part of what we do as academics. Being a good mentor as a supervisor is really crucial, not just in those specific research skills, but all of the other things: how to run a lab, how to give a good talk, how to provide opportunities to other people. And so sometimes it might be that I get offered something and I try and give it to one of the students or the postdocs because it actually makes a much bigger difference for them. For postdoctoral fellows, yep, you guessed it, mentoring is still crucial. It might be advice on which project to pursue or how to manage multiple projects. You're giving reference letters for years. And having a group, in this case, this is one of the pictures of our Perception and Action Research Centre, where you see the ways that other academics do it way beyond your individual supervisor. And then once you become a faculty member, yep, it's still crucial. How do you run your lab? Are there new ways that you should explore? How do you stay open to new approaches and learning while still developing your own niche, if you like? So, yeah, once you become a faculty member, your group might grow. Here's a more recent photo of my research centre. And then professors need mentoring too. So it might come from each other, but it also might come from your students and postdocs. So the encouragement from my group of wonderful students and postdocs for me to apply for professor was a big part of having the confidence to do it. And this is a surprise celebration where they surprised me with this lovely gift of a handmade brain. I don't know if you can see that on the slide. So professors need mentoring too. And of course, outside academia as well. For example, the Global Young Academy At-Risk Scholars Initiative is a really important way that we can all contribute. This is a mentoring program where we each get linked up with a scholar who has had to either leave their home country or is at risk of being displaced. And I've learned an awful lot through all of being involved in all of these mentoring schemes. So importantly, it's not just the mentee that gets the benefit, it's the mentor too. So just to finish up, I would say at every level, all of us have something to offer others. It might be a more junior student in the lab or a high school student looking to do science. No matter what your gender, you can be influential in helping women, particularly to aspire, to overcome challenges and to thrive. You can be inspirational for men in encouraging them not just to do science, but to help women do science, to not in a condescending way of help, but to try and challenge the societal biases that are making it more difficult for women to progress. I would say the key things to consider are, can you listen and try not to be judgmental? Ask your potential mentee if there's specific areas or goals. Be a neutral voice. So rather than giving advice, ask questions that lead to that person consider all options. You do need to be honest, even when that's difficult, as well as encouraging. If you get opportunities, consider whether one of your mentees might benefit from them more. Be available and reliable. So I think it's important to show the people that look up to us as mentors that they are valuable and worth our time. And it is also important to know that sometimes it doesn't work. And so if it's not a good match after a while, is there someone else who you think would work much better for this person? And then you could be the person getting them in touch. And that's an important thing to remember too, to actually take care for that. So is it worth the effort? I would say absolutely. But do take care that you don't spend all your time mentoring instead of doing your own things. You aren't being taken for granted. you need to work out, if it's not valued at your institution already, how can you make it valuable? You know, so often there is the situation where women are spending more time doing things like mentoring, and it's perhaps valued less, or then is competing with research time and so on. So it is another risk. But at the same time, for me, I get a lot of inspiration, energy, and value from being involved in mentoring. So for me, it is worth the risk. And I work hard to make sure that my bosses know how valuable it is. You do sometimes have to back off a bit or work out whether you should say no. And I loved the line, "Say no with a smile." That's a great piece of advice from the first talk. I've also heard another person, Maggie. Mimi, you remember Maggie from No Innovation, and she said the way that she likes to say no is to say, "That is a really valuable thing to do, and I'm afraid I won't have the time to give it the energy and the time that it deserves. So it's you know, it's so important that I have to say no." I think that's a nice way of doing it too. So it does take time to be a good mentor, but I think it's beneficial because we learn a lot. We benefit from others' experiences, both as a mentee and as a mentor. As I said, I find it really gratifying, positive, and inspiring, and it makes a positive difference. I think it's a way that we can all contribute to greater equality and success for women through our mentoring actions, amongst lots of other avenues. And so I'm very proud that my lab is full of primarily amazing, intelligent women who are pursuing their PhDs or postdoctoral fellowships under my supervision. And I really continue to learn and benefit from mentoring them and the students and postdocs who have passed through my lab over the last nearly 15 years. So this is my current lab, but many of the people who are not currently in the lab have influenced me greatly. So I would like to end with an offer of a book for you. If you haven't come across this before, you can do a free download of The Words of Wisdom, which is a collation of cherished advice from academic mentors around the world. This was my first project with the GYA with the wonderful Rob Jenkins and the fabulous Jan Christoph Heilinger. And together we edited these words of wisdom from around the world. I think one of the outstanding questions about mentoring is whether what is most effective actually varies across cultures. And certainly when we were compiling this book, there's a lot of different types of advice. So please feel free to go and download a copy for yourself. So I will finish by thanking you for listening. I'm sorry you couldn't see me. Thank you to my long-term mentors. And also, as I said, to those who I've been fortunate enough to mentor, because they've influenced me as much as these wonderful people on the slide. So I'm going to quickly stop my screen share so that hopefully you can, there we go. So that hopefully you can see me now. Can you see me now?
No, we just still can only see AR for Anina Rich. But I received also a personal message from my friend. She would like to also see you because she said in the poster you look so nice. So I was like, oh, maybe one day you go and see her. Yeah, but
I'm very sorry. I don't know how that happened because according to my thing, my video is on. Anyway, at least I stopped in time, Mimi.
Yeah, you are. So thank you so much to Anina for the great talk. I've learned from this a lot too, because we've been talking about mentoring, being a mentor-mentee here and there. But this is for me the first time to really get an official knowledge and learning about what mentoring is all about, the do's and don'ts, and seems like it's not that direct, meaning you have to really properly planning it to make it work. So and if I can share with all of you, in that book just now that Anina showed us, that is really a great book, thanks to three of them, the effort of these three people. And eventually and coincidentally, what I also contributed one in that book of wisdom. And my the word of wisdom that I shared in that book is actually from our professor NASA just now, Nor Aisha. I think I still remember I put her name also in that book, because when I did my doctorate degree in Finland, it was at one point too difficult for me because I still cannot finish it after around 4.5 years, because we need a lot of papers to be published before we can graduate. So she came to Finland for her sabbatical, and one day we had a tea, and I pour out my heart for the first time, because I never showed my weakness point to other people. Not because I feel I'm superior, because I feel shy, you know. So at that time, I told her, I think I cannot. It's too difficult for me. My doctorate degree was a very difficult for me at that time. I don't know whether I can finish it. I almost gave up. And then she said 3 words to me. Mimi, remember? She said, it's all about, maybe I'm wrong, I cannot really remember, perseverance, 3 things. I don't cannot, endurance, and one more. I cannot remember. But that thing lift up my mood that day and until forever. I can remember I graduated, managed to graduate after that with a new positive vibe, thanks to her. And I maybe dedicated my PhD at that time to her also lah. If she didn't come to Finland at that time, I cannot really share my worriness, you know. So she's also contributed a lot to me getting my doctorate degree. So my question to Anina, one short one. Anina, do you think being a mentor is suit only for or fit only for certain type of people's character, like, you know, people like us, we are chatty, so maybe it's easier for us. But some people who are very introvert, they don't speak a lot, they really are quiet people, but they have a lot of experience and so on. So does this mentoring thingy fit for everybody despite of their character, or, you know, it suits for people who really can mingle a lot, or and more socialized? What is your opinion on this?
Well, I'm glad I got the audio back on in time to hear that you were asking me a question, because I didn't hear most of that. But I heard your question. Look, I don't think that everybody is a good mentor. That's certainly not the case. If somebody is not looking out for their mentees and actively listening to what they need, then that's not going to be a good mentor. But if somebody is quiet, that doesn't mean they can't be a good mentor, right? It depends on your motivation. So I don't think you have to be extroverted to be a good mentor, but you have to care. So that's probably where I would stop. I do think that sometimes people aren't good mentors without realizing it. So they're so focused perhaps on their own research, and students and postdocs are seen as people who will foster that research. And if you see somebody who's supervising like that, then I would say they might be supervising, but they're not being a mentor. Being a mentor really does mean trying to assist the people who are working with you to expand their knowledge and horizons, and caring deeply about their success. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, meaning it's not only externally, but it goes also internally to your heart. Like you can really connect and care about that person deeply, right? Like not 100% professionally, but also you care them like how you want to be cared, maybe something like that, right? So thank you so much, Anina, for the great sharing. We really love that mentoring thing. I think because we were just got a new role, me and several others in our university, to act as mentor for our junior lecturers. So now your talk really made us repenting. Okay, we have to be the best for our mentee. Now we will act the best as a mentor. So thank you for your sharing, Anina. So next, we are going to welcome. Again, okay, we are very in a good timeline. Yeah, we are 4 minutes beyond our scheduled time. That's because of me. Anina finished her talk very sharp on time. So let us welcome our third speaker. Yeah. So our third speaker is from different background. Yeah, and I really look up to this woman. She is what we call Iron Lady. Yeah. No, despite her small size, but wow, she wins a lot of awards. Yeah, because of her business achievement. Yeah. Not only nationally but also internationally. So let us welcome Miss Salisa Abdullah. Actually, she is my respective senior during my secondary school. Yeah, in boarding school. Only 1 year older than me, but look at where she is now. So Salisa Abdullah is the managing director and CEO, woman CEO, you know, of BG Capital Holdings Group of companies. meaning they have a few companies, a deputy president of the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs for Malaysia, and she is also a multi-award winning entrepreneur, namely the outstanding I don't know what is Association of Women Entrepreneur for ASEAN Award 2019, and also the UN, the United Nations Women Asia Pacific Women Empowerment Principles Award in year 2020. Yes, among many other awards that she has received, and she is also a wonderful wife and a great mother of two beautiful children. With that, our dear Kak Salisa, the screen is yours. So please give us some sharing here from the perspective of entrepreneurship, which is what you do. You do the best here from as an entrepreneur yourself. Please welcome our Kak Salisa, our Miss Salisa.
Thank you, Dr. Mimi. You can hear me okay, right? Okay, so when you mention senior, it sounds like I'm so much older than you, but our age difference is only 1 year. So you don't even have to call me Kaka. But first and foremost, thank you so much, Dr. Mimi. It's an honor for you to having me be part of this webinar organized by UTM as well as the Global Young Academy. So when I actually did a bit of a research about Global Young Academy, I was like, it's a group full of scientists. And then when I told this to my husband, and my husband was like, why are you going to be talking to all this group of scientists? Because my husband is also a PhD holder, a doctor in engineering. And I was like, no, I do have something interesting to share with all the beautiful and maybe handsome scientists out there, okay? Maybe to give you a different perspective on what you can do, especially in the new norm, and, try to do something different other than what you are doing right now, because we do need a lot of scientists in this world, especially women. But what I'm going to be sharing with you is some perspective about entrepreneurship. So as you all know, the theme for this year's International Women's Day celebration is choose to challenge. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I want to challenge you to embrace your inner talents, your inner strength, your inner skills, and your passion, and turn them into an income generating opportunity for all of you. Okay, because what we have learned for the past 1 year, especially because of the pandemic, is that the world is full of uncertainties. A lot of people who, yesterday was earning, $20,000 or $30,000 from their, full-time jobs. After, or maybe because of the pandemic, the next day, they weren't making a single cent from that stable job that they used to have, because the company had to shut down because of the impact of COVID to the businesses. And we're not just talking about the SMEs, we're also talking about the GLC, we're also talking about the multinational companies that have no choice but to shut down their operations in Malaysia and move it to other parts of the world. So we do not want to wait until a crisis like that has happened. Then only we want to start figuring out what we want to do next. Because what is certain is that our commitments, okay, especially our financial commitment, that is something that we cannot run away from, okay? Even though we don't have a job today, but we still have to pay our loans, we still have to pay for our children's educations, their books and all that. So that is why it's important for all of us, whether you are having a stable income jobs right now, or whether you are still thinking you're at the verge of whether or not to start or embarking into the world of entrepreneurship, or if you are retrenched, you don't have any jobs right now, it is important for all of us to have alternative plans, so that at the end of the day, we would be able to have a secure income, and we would be in control about the future of our life. Okay, so basically, a bit about myself. I think Dr. Mimi has explained, but I just want to explain a bit more. I am actually an engineer, a trained engineer, but I have decided to forego that opportunity to become an engineer after I graduated from Purdue University to help my mother 20 years ago in this family business. So I have been an entrepreneur for almost 20 years. I'm currently helming this 30-year-old business, and I have been able to expand the business from a single entity company to a group of companies, whereby we have diversified from just doing physical guiding services and ventured into training and consultancy, surveillance, technologies, AI, big data, and as well as social enterprise and event management. So we do a lot of things, but we still remain true to the concept of the business, whereby security and safety is the core of our business. We believe that by being able to empower every single individuals out there in our community with the ability to be financially independent is definitely going to contribute to the safety and security of our country. Okay, so that is our mission, and that is why I am here to share with you some of the perspectives about the benefit of being an entrepreneur. Okay, so this is some of the pictures taken. I don't want to go down into like what we do and all that, but this is just to give you a snapshot of what we have achieved for the past 20 years. And Dr. Mimi has also mentioned that the latest achievement that we've acquired was actually December of last year, whereby our company was acknowledged as one of the winners for the United Nations Women Empowerment Principles Asia Pacific Award, whereby the award basically recognized our contribution in terms of improving the industry and the industry and the community in Malaysia in terms of women empowerment. Okay, and despite of what has happened last year, you know, a lot of businesses had shut down, you know, had to retrench a lot of workers. I'm proud to say that I still have nearly 500 of my workers, okay, under our payroll. We have not retrenched a single one of them. In fact, we have hired several new people because we have diversified and scale up our business. What it means is that we have been able to turn the crisis into opportunity and turn it into a new business activities for us. For example, now everyone is online. We have been able to introduce a security on demand type of services. We have also been able to venture into drone surveillance because of all the grants and all the financial assistance which are being provided by the government. So we leverage on the fact that governments are assisting SME. It's just that we need to come up with some interesting business model. So we have been able to do that. And the other thing that I'm very proud to share is that, or maybe to give you an example how a crisis can be turned into an opportunity, is that last year a lot of people, because of the retrenchment and all that, they had no choice but to maybe sell off some of their properties. So I was able, what Professor Nasa mentioned, Dr. Mimi also has a lot of friends. You know, networking is very important. So I came across one of my friends, okay. Unfortunately, they had no choice, but they needed to sell one of their properties. So I was able to get a property below market price. And the bank at that time was eagerly wanting people to apply for the loan, and they were able to give very attractive interest rate. So meaning to say, last year we have been able to acquire a new office buildings in Johor to support our business expansion for the coming year. So it's been good for us, and besides being actively involved in making sure of the sustainability and giving assurance to our workers that their jobs are there for them, they don't have to worry about anything. I'm also actively involved in several other NGOs. Okay, at the moment I am the Deputy President of the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Malaysia. This is also one of the longest or basically the oldest and the largest multiracial women entrepreneur association in Malaysia. I do believe that it is important for us, if we want to be good in whatever that we are doing. The same goes with the Global Young Academy, whereby they gather all the experts from all over the world. We need to network with people beyond, the people in from our race or our country. So NAWEM basically it's an association comprises of multi-ethnicity women entrepreneurs in Malaysia. I'm also currently serving as a board member of the Nawam Cooperative Board, as well as the Koperasi Keselamatan Berhad. Okay, under Nawam, I'm also the project director of L'Oreal Nawam Women in Business, whereby it is the first ever project undertaken by L'Oreal and a local NGO in Malaysia to support and provide supplementary income opportunity to the B40 communities in Malaysia, especially the women. So I've been part of this program since 2017. I'm also currently serving as Vice President of the Malaysia Security Industry Association, whereby I am very happy over the fact that I became the first ever vice president in 40th history of the association. So that is an indication that the industry and Malaysian are already accepting women to take a leadership role, you know, especially to represent an industry which is very much male dominated. Okay, so what I want to share with you, I don't really think that there is a one size fits all kind of like formula and how you want to be achieved in whatever career that you want to do. And I'm definitely not here to encourage you know, all of you to resign and become an entrepreneur the next day. But it's really important, as I've mentioned earlier, for all of us to look into ourselves, what are the things that we can do on the side to perhaps earn supplementary income. And maybe eventually, after you have learned so many things and, you know, undertaken so many courses in terms of entrepreneurship, or maybe get yourself a mentor, like what Dr. Anina mentioned earlier, then only you make the decision whether or not you want to really become a full-time entrepreneur. But for me, entrepreneurship has done wonders. I am a wife. I am a mother of 2 children. I took the time to actually spend 1 week with my 2 children, sending them to standard 1 this year, because my children are very small. Late production, Dr. Mimi. I think yours are much older than mine. So I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son. For me, family always comes first, okay? Because if we don't have the devotion and we do not allocate enough time for our family, you know, that gives out a wrong message to our business as well. Okay, because when we do business, when we become an entrepreneur, it's not just about making money. It's about creating a sustainable business that will be able to help a lot of people out there. So it has to start from the family, how we treat and how we love our family. Then those values, those ideologies can be translated into how we take care of our employees and how we are able to grow our business in the future. Okay, so the 4 things that I want to share with all of you is on the aspect of how, especially those people who are still working, okay, on how or what you can do right now to earn extra money. Okay, because I think now we're talking about the new norm, everyone must start thinking about this. Okay, for example, I'm assuming that most of the viewers are scientists, yeah, Dr. Mimi. They are professionals, highly qualified individuals, you know, but it doesn't mean that we should all be complacent with whatever job that we are doing right now. We need to always challenge ourselves what other things that we can do apart from, you know, teaching or doing some research and all that. Okay, so for example, we see you know, last year a lot of people, you know, even the pilot have started to venture into F&B because they lost their jobs. Okay, a lot of people also have started to take up jobs that they can do at home. For example, doing creative writing, doing teaching, you know, giving extra tuition classes and things like that. Writing books, you know, giving talks also have become an opportunity for people to earn money, because people do actually pay, you know, speakers when they take part in, you know, talking about big conferences and all that. So I think now is a time whereby a lot of you know, people should be looking at this. And even though you do not have the skills right now, what I want to share with you is that the government, especially through their agencies, are giving a lot of free programs, okay, to the members of the community, whereby they can actually sign up and learn something for free. digital marketing, you know, social media marketing and things like that. So do take up on those opportunities because now is the perfect time for us to upskill ourselves and challenge ourselves, and maybe also turn our hobbies into some projects that can help others to make money. Because just to share for those who follow our Facebook, or maybe can check out our Facebook right now, in conjunction with Hari Wanita, we are actually supporting the local community in Subang Jaya, whereby we have a friend, you know, within the community. She does crochet. Okay, so what we have done is we provided her with our event community space in Subang Jaya, whereby as we speak, she is conducting weekly classes in teaching a group of women on how to do crochet. And we will actually come on board and help them in terms of how they will be able to market their products, you know, after this. So it's a community project that we are doing. It can be from the smallest little thing, you know, just a hobby, and you can turn that into something useful for others to learn that might be able to help them to earn money in the future. Okay, and because Dr. Mimi said I only have 30 minutes, so I decided to put all the slides in, to all the pictures in one slide. So I hope everyone can see the flow easier. Okay, so one is for those who are still making, still having a full-time job. As I mentioned earlier, I challenge you, okay, to look into opportunities whereby you can earn extra money. Don't be complacent with whatever that you are having right now, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you need to be prepared, okay? Secondly, once you are ready, okay, for example, you discovered something that you really like doing, and you really see, there's a demand in doing this business, and you really want to go all out. You know, perhaps somebody who likes to do gardening, okay? Now the in thing is about urban farming, Agrotech, you know, these are very much in demand right now. So perhaps from just out of a hobby of like planting, you know, some cucumber or whatever chilies at home, you can turn it into an urban farming business, and you're ready. And maybe because you have enough savings and you manage to tap on some of the grants which are being given by agencies like Magic, MIDA, and all that. If you are ready, then by all means, you know, set up your own company, okay? Because once you have set up your own company, given few years, you know, if provided that you have a proper business model, you know, you have done all the research that is required before you actually start a business, eventually, okay, you and your company, you will be able to be financially independent. I think that is what we want, okay? We do not want to rely on kind of like an income from working for other people, okay? We need to always be in control about the money that we earn, okay? And entrepreneurship done right, okay? Entrepreneurship done right would be able to provide you with that sense of control, whereby your hard-earned money is yours, okay? You can work 9 to 5 if you feel like, okay, I don't really feel like, having the need to make extra sales this month. But if you feel that, I really see potentials in securing new project, you can work 24 hours, but at the end of the day, the hard-earned money is yours, and it is you yourself that is able to make a decision how you want to spend, how you want to invest your money, because it is your money. So the sense of satisfaction is so much different, okay, than working for other people. So, but as I mentioned, entrepreneurship done right, you really need to do your research, have a proper model. But once you have come to that level, I can tell you that that would be the best thing that you could ever done for your career and for your life, okay? And then coming to decision making, if you're talking about women in corporate, it's all about decision making. We have to fight to be in the position to become the CEO of the company. Okay? And always there will be a glass ceiling, and all that. But when you own your own business, you are the boss. You are the boss of your own company. You are the CEO. You are the COO. You make the call. You decide how you want to grow your business, what kind of product and services that you want to do. So I think that's the most important thing that you want to do. Okay, and you will be able to do this once you have become an entrepreneur. If you want to set up a policy, for example, now some institution, maybe they don't allow, your children to come along with you to the workplace, so if you're the boss, you can make the decision, you can change the policy and allow children to accompany you when you go to your workplace. So all that can be done when you are the boss of your own organization. Okay, and the last thing that I want to mention is about work-life balance. I think Professor Nasa also did mention about work-life balance. It is very crucial, and ultimately, as a woman, as a mother, this is what we want to achieve in life. It's not going to be a perfect balance. Okay, there would need to be some sacrifices. Okay, you need to communicate with your spouses. Okay, and let them know, let your spouse know about your expectations. There must be some give and take. Okay, but work-life balance is something that is achievable. So what I want to share with you, Dr. Mimi, is how I've been able to still have quality family time with my husband and my children, at the same time doing something for my business. For example, my company, we have branches all over Malaysia. So sometimes I do need to travel to Kedah, to Johor, to Sabah and Sarawak. So I always plan my schedule, whereby it's during school holiday, it's during the time where my husband can take some time off. So we will be able to go outstation together. So I will spend maybe 1 or 2 days during work, and I will still have that extra time to spend with my family. Okay, and in February of 2020, just a few weeks before COVID, before they imposed the MCO, my family and I, we were actually in Mumbai, okay, whereby I was invited to speak at a World Congress event, and I was invited also to receive an award. And because the organizer basically, give complimentary hotel rooms and all that, so I made arrangement that, I told the organizer whether it's possible for me to bring my husband and my 2 kids, and they were pretty much, open to the idea, because basically, I will get the hotel room to myself. They don't need to upgrade. I just need to, spend my money how I want in sponsoring my husband and my kids to tag along with me. So all this is made possible because of entrepreneurship. Because I know that if I were to work for other people, this is something that I would not have been able to do. Whenever I want to go traveling, I need to apply for leave, and I need to wait for my boss to approve. For Dr. Mimi, maybe you need to wait for Professor Nasa to approve your leave. If Professor Nasa said no leave, then Dr. Mimi, you have to stay at home. You cannot go anywhere. Okay? So you need to be in control. Everyone needs to be in control with our life. So I think that's one of the things that I want to share. Okay, actually there's so many other things, but I think because of time, I think I only have time until 3:45, right, Dr. Mimi? Okay, so I want to give time to the other two speakers. So basically, what I want to conclude my presentation is with a wish to everyone, a happy International Women's Day. I think it is important for us to continue to empower one another, okay, and to network, okay, and expand the number of our networking friends. When we network, doesn't mean that we need to only be friends with people who can benefit us. It's also about learning from one another. So with that, I want to once again thank you, Dr. Mimi, UTM, and the Global Young Academy for having me. I hope my sharing on entrepreneurship has been beneficial, because it has truly done wonders for my career, my personal life, as well as my business. And inshallah, we will continue to strive and be more successful, not only in Malaysia, but in the international arena. So that's all from me. Over to you, Dr. Mimi. Thank you. Dr. Mimi, how do I unshare my screen?
Sorry,
Can you-
because
Oh.
you can maybe can you stop sharing it? But it's okay. Yeah, And also because of your words, suddenly I realized that I talk with my speaker mute. Aduh, terima kasih lah ya. Because I terkejut dengan you. Okay, I have to unmute myself. So thank you very much for your inspiring talk. And you know, our like just now, Prof Nasa, dia ada mention about one of our great entrepreneur kan from UTM, business women like you. Her name is Maria. We call her Cik Manggis because her cosmetic is based on mangosteen punya ingredient, and she did her study on cosmetic in Korea. One of the best cosmetic industry in the world. So she cannot use her WebEx chatting because of the connection problem. So she want me to tell you this. Okay, I have to read from her. I promised her already. So tell Miss Salisa, Madam Salisa, I love this quote from that Madam Salisa mentioned just now. The part where you mentioned business is not all about making money. Yeah, it's about how you treat a sustainable business chain and help other people to generate income. Because she's also like you lah, you can generating millions, so maybe millionaire people can say something like this, yeah, because maybe generate income a lot. But then we can see also how, because I haven't get to know you deeper, you know how you help others can, because we just get to know each other a few months weeks ago. But from Dr. Maria, she mentoring a lot of new lecturers who would like to venture into cosmetic. For example, our Dr. Maria who just launched her product from apa itu Halia Bukit apa I tak ingat dia and then another one from other university. So maybe this is how you guys do things, like you know, you are not only concentrating on making money for your own business or companies, but you also do care about others. If you can share with us why people like you guys are, because we want to understand how you guys think, because we are engineers, we think differently. Why you guys at some point want to help others in their businesses? What is it to you that you want to help others? How that means to you kan? Why you want to do that? Maybe you can share with us a bit.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mimi and Dr. Maria. Is it for that question? Because to me, I think maybe it's gonna sound a bit spiritual, but to me, money, even though you have 1 million, 1 billion, or 100 billion, it will never be enough for you. And the true sense of satisfaction is when you're able to do something, even the smallest and little thing, but it is able to change the life of these other people that you have impacted. And in order to do that, you need to do business because you need money, right, to help these people, either through mentorship, but you need money, you need to sustain, you need to provide employment, you need to be able, for example, to travel and meet these people that you want to help. But the true sense of satisfaction is there when you see that what the smallest little thing that you do is able to change the life of others, and how they're able to change the life of their children and all that. Maybe because the way I started becoming an entrepreneur is not like, although this is a family business, but I did not inherit like a big company like Genting or NASA. You know, I joined my mother business when it was pretty much a typical moms and pops kind of business, whereby one person had to do everything. There was no clear business model. We were operating from a small, office space, but I knew that maybe because of my education background, I was like, no, I'm not going to be running this type of business for the rest of my life. I want to grow this business so that the company would be able to build a sustainable business, leave a legacy. And the legacy is not just about making money, but it's about impacting others. And I think it is important. It was also shared by Sir Richard Branson in one of his talks, which inspired me, whereby he did mention that, 3 things that entrepreneurs really need to think about when they want to start or when they want to venture into entrepreneurship. One, definitely the bottom line of the business. When we do business, it's not about charity. Okay, if you're not profitable, then forget about the business that you're doing. Secondly, you really need to take care of your employees, the well-being of your employee, because they are the true asset. Clients can come and go, okay? But employees, if you take good care of them, they would be able to remain loyal, and they are the true assets of the company. So really take care of your employees. And the third thing is what you give back to the community. Okay, for me, how I look at the business is that we are a security company. Whatever upskilling, like what I mentioned, the crochet program, it's a fun thing. People would think that it is just a sewing classes, but the knowledge that I am able to provide to the community members is something that would able to help them to generate income. So hopefully it will change their life and would make things a lot better for all of us here on earth and in the afterlife. So yeah, so that would be my feedback. The satisfaction is when you're able to make a difference. And so yeah, go back to the spiritual part.
Thank you so much, Madam Salisa, for your sharing. And I've received also personal messages like, wah, inspiringnya, tengoklah awak di mana. I say, okay, one day you will get there too, insyaAllah, and you can connect to her also if they are interested to learn more from you. With that, thank you very much, Madam Salisa, for your time and for saying yes to my invitation. Yeah. Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you, Salisa. Okay, so next is our fourth speaker, but let me first confirm. Prof K, are you here already with us, or are you because
Yes, I'm here, Mimi.
Okay, thank you, Kay. Thank you for you managed to get here after your class.
Yeah.
So, Kay, let me introduce you first. So, our beautiful friend, yeah, Kay, she's very close to us. We have our research crazy team, so she is one of us. So, Professor Kathleen B. Abiso, or who we call her as Kay, is a professor of the Chemical Engineering Department of De La Salle University in Manila, Philippines. So her main research interest is the development of computer models and decision support tools for environmental decision making. She is the author of more than 160 Scopus Index publications with an H index of 26. For those who are in academic, we know how high this 26 is, right? So she is currently one of the executive editors in the famous, highly recognized Journal of Cleaner Production, and she is also part of the editorial board for process integration and optimization for sustainability, computers in industry, and Helion Self Press Elsevier publication, and also the author of the book Input Output Model for Sustainable Industrial System. If you are interested to get the book, maybe you can get it from Springer Nature, the publisher. Yeah. So she was the country finalist for the 2016 ASEAN US Science Prize for Women, and she was also recently recognized as one of the Asia's rising scientists by the ASEAN Scientist magazine. What a great person we have today. Yeah? Okay, so Professor K, you can start your talk session now, like 30 minutes. So the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mimi, and thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor to be part of this event, and I congratulate you for organizing it. Um, so I was able to catch a few of the talks, and the talks were really inspiring. I hope that I can still add on to what the other researchers have already, or the other speakers have already talked about. So what I'll talk about is more of how one can develop a research career. I know that some of the speakers have already touched upon some aspects of this. So like Mimi mentioned, so I come from the Philippines, Manila. So this is our university, and it's one of only two institutions in the country who have made it to the Times Higher Education rankings. So it's really a challenge for us in the Philippines. We still need to get more institutions, more universities in the country to be ranked in Times Higher Education, which really recognizes research intensive universities. So this is just a brief outline of what I will share with you this afternoon. So I'll discuss about research and innovation in academia and share with you the research, the regional landscape of higher education institutions in the ASEAN region and in the Philippines as well, just to give you an idea of the challenges that we also face and opportunities for growth how do we build a research career, and I will show also some recent work that we've been doing during the pandemic, since the strike of the pandemic. And then I'll end with some concluding thoughts. So here are some of the important trends that we need to pay attention to that affect the productivity, or maybe the way that we should look at higher education institutions. So this is applicable to the Philippines, but maybe it's also applicable to other regions in the ASEAN. So we know that Industry 4.0 is already here, and we really need to innovate. And now there is also the onset of the ASEAN integration and globalization. And because of this, we really need to remain competitive. Like I mentioned, only 2 institutions made it to the Times Higher Education's ranking. And if you compare that to other regions in the ASEAN, just like in Malaysia, we think that we are still being left behind as a country. So this is one of the challenges that we are faced with. How do we innovate, and how can we catch up with with our neighboring countries? Because we know that our graduates, or our students, will need to compete with other students graduating from other institutions. And now there is a growth in research, really, and we need to be able to capture that particular growth. And although previously we were not equipped, or maybe we were not used to this type of emphasis on research, and so we need to catch up on that. And with the continuous growth in economic development, both in the Philippines and the rest of the ASEAN region, we really need to capitalize on this, and do our best to maximize the potential of um, of this. And then we had a recent reform also in basic education, which transforms also the kinds of students that we receive. And then, of course, we had the recent challenge with the COVID-19. Okay, so I believe that academic institutions have these main functions. So it's not just about transmitting knowledge, wherein you try to relay information from textbooks, but it's also about creating knowledge that you can contribute to the rest of the world. And maybe it's not just the academia, maybe to us as individuals, we should all contribute to that global pool of knowledge and act as a public knowledge resource. So why is it important to do research in academia? Because maybe for entrepreneurs, just like our previous speaker, she also wanted to contribute to the society and make an impact. So in the same way as researchers or as academics, we can also contribute towards societal good by creating research that will be useful for the nation, for the region, or maybe for the rest of the world. And of course, by creating or building our capabilities, we can also build a national talent pool. And I think this is relevant, not just for my country, but also for other countries. So I always like to show this particular picture, which shows the interdependencies between researchers and the society. So sometimes we are often asked about the impact of the work that we do, but sometimes it might not be easily seen. But we should not be discouraged by this, and we should always think about the contribution that we make as researchers, because the things that we do or the things that we develop can be useful to government, so that they can develop more efficient or more effective policies which improve the situation of the general public. In the same way, the tools and the insights that we get from our research can also help industry so that they can perform better, or so that they can improve their processes. And by doing that, they can also improve the goods and services given to the public. And if government and industry can trust the work that researchers do, then there will be more support as well. So it is a cycle, it is a vicious cycle, and we hope to make that work. And researchers are really part of that society. And so we cannot isolate the work that we do from the impact that we make. So this is the Global Innovation Index, which ranks how different nations actually perform in terms of innovation. And the big chunk of the indicator includes research and development expenditure, contribution to patents, and of course, scientific articles. So it gives an indicator on the relative performance of the country. So with regards to the Philippines, although we've seen an improvement in our position or in the rank in the Global Innovation Index, when we look deeper into the different criteria inside it, and we see that we are really still lagging behind in terms of research and development and focus on research and scientific articles. So I do hope that we also do a wake-up call for the Philippines, and then I suppose for the ASEAN region as we look at more developed countries as well. And I like that this forum is about women. And I hope that you all were aware that just recently 2 women were awarded the Nobel Prize for Chemistry for their work in CRISPR. And that particular work, so it shows us that research in the laboratories do not just stop there. That research has already contributed to more than 500 patents, produced more than 160,000 publications, and is now valued for about $4.9 billion by 2027. And of course, if women can do it, men can do it too. Um, yeah, so a more popular way back in 2010, these 2 young men also received the Nobel Prize for physics because of the development of graphene. So it's one way to look at the relevance of what researchers do in the laboratory, in that it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have impact.
Ahmad, print surat tu Ahmad.
So I hope that these
Yang
2
covering tu.
examples become
Dengan list
inspirations for everyone.
Dengan list. Thanks.
So by taking that into inspiration, so how do we actually build our research career? So one of our speakers mentioned as well, having a work-life balance. And as academics, these are some of the things that we need to balance. We need to do research, we're expected to teach. Some of us would need to do administrative duties. And of course, we still have our personal lives. Okay, the simplest way to do it would be to divide the hours of the day into 4. But of course, that really wouldn't work. So it's really important to watch out for a work-life balance. Otherwise, we will also not be productive. And as professors, these are what is expected of us. We need to divide our work into the different activities in universities. But in reality, we actually do more, and they actually expect more from us. We are expected to produce more research. We are expected to have more teaching load. And in addition to that, we also need to provide service. But if we had our way, perhaps we'd like to spend our time on the things that we really want to do. Okay, so but what can help us so that we can rock as we can build our research career. So I've identified 6 different key points that we can look at. So the first one would be recognizing our habits. So it's important to recognize that bad habits can happen to good people. So it doesn't mean that if we have bad habits, we're not good people, and we really need to understand what those bad habits are before we can start changing them, because it's the realization that helps us change our ways. So we have to recognize which particular habits affect our effectiveness. So for example, are you too much of a perfectionist? Or do you worry too much? Because these things can potentially affect your performance, and it also affects your mindset. So once we've identified those things, then we can commit to change. It's also important to develop effective working habits by knowing how we prefer to do things, knowing when we are most active or when we have the highest level of energy, and being able to prioritize the things that we need to do today, or the things that we need to do in general. So this quadrants that you see on the lower right hand corner, can maybe help guide us in identifying which particular tasks we need to do. So there are things that are important and urgent, things that are important but not urgent, and things that are not important but urgent, and some things that are for long-term goals. So they might not be important and they might not be urgent as well. So we have to set our goals and try to align that our commitment to our activities lead towards that goal. Otherwise, we would always feel frustrated that we did not accomplish anything, even though we've spent all of our time in the day doing something. So important activities are those which leads towards the achievement of your professional or personal goals. So it's important to know which things are important to us, which things add value to us, and which things make us relevant against urgent activities which require immediate action but do not necessarily work towards your goal. So by knowing which of those activities or classifying your activities in that way, hopefully it can help us prioritize which things to do first. So here are other things that might be helpful in the career, especially if you're in the academe, is to have a bit of focus. Especially if you're new in the academe, it's good to teach the same type of module for a few years. So this at least reduces your preparation time. And you can also stay on the same research area until you eventually establish your results. Because as with anything, it takes time to catch up and learn new things. So it's good to organize your schedule on a weekly basis and prioritize on a daily basis. So always commit to finishing tasks because that gives us a sense of commitment. And one other thing that I think is also important, although now it's quite difficult because we're all working from home, but it would be good if we can set aside a time for work and a time for home so that we can commit ourselves 100% to work and 100% at home. Because oftentimes you might be at home, but it feels like you're not there and you're not spending quality time with your family. So one of the speakers also talked about mentoring. So it's also important to have a good mentor in any career. So in a research career. So as what was discussed earlier, a mentor will help shape the way you think about yourself and about the world. So I was quite lucky as well that the mentors that I had were very open-minded, and even though I did not take my PhD degree outside of the country, they brought international worldview into picture. So it's good. So I was lucky in that sense. So mentors will also listen and help you think through things more clearly. They provide you with confidence and create opportunities for you so that they can also help you build your career. So the next key aspect would be being exposed to the international community. So it is essential to develop a sense of international standards and a global scale of research and knowledge creation. So I think one of the drawbacks, or one thing that's quite common in the Philippines, is to have a very close view of the world, and we tend to think about only local issues. Although that is not a problem, what's important is to realize what lessons can be learned from local issues that can be um, transmitted, or can be a learning ground as well for other communities or for other countries. Because by doing that, then it creates a broader sense of the things that you do, and you create a broader impact. So how do you get international exposure? So if you're in the academe, you can do PhD studies full-time abroad, or perhaps do a short stint like a sandwich program. After PhD, you can do a postdoc, or maybe you can get involved with short-term research fellowships, some summer or winter schools, and participate in several conferences. So in conferences, you get to meet different people, different cultures, and that helps broaden the way you think about life. So with regards to international exposure, um, My initial work or research activities was my involvement in this particular conference way back in 2015, and actually it was held in Malaysia. So the host then was I'm not University of Nottingham, Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken. So I started participating regularly in press, and because of my regular presence in the conference, so people became your friends. They started to take notice of your work, and then you are exposed also to researchers in a very similar field. And during that event, I've also met experts in process graphs, which is something that I've been doing right now. So it's one of my research strengths. And like what was mentioned earlier, I am now one of the executive editors from the Journal of Cleaner Production. And the editor in chief, who was Professor Irji Klemesh, I actually met him in this particular conference. And when I started participating in press in 2015, not long after, I am now part of the International Scientific Committee of this conference. And through that exposure, I was also able to grow my professional network. Um, so it pays to develop a healthy professional network because it is essential to thrive a research career. So it's not all about who you know and who knows you. So when you go to conferences, don't just be there to present a paper, but spend some time to discuss and mingle with the other participants. If it's not possible, then you can do email. So I know that one of the speakers a while ago mentioned that she receives a lot of email messages from prospective maybe students or maybe colleagues or collaborators. So the fourth one would be building research teams. It's important to remain productive. You cannot do everything by yourself. So everything has nowadays it helps when you have a team. So be open to have collaboration opportunities, but make sure that you can deliver what your collaborators expect. Of course, when you enter into a collaboration, you do not enter just because you will benefit from it, but you should also make sure that you can contribute something to that collaboration. Of course, team effort um, leads to cultural and disciplinary and age diversity. And that, in a way, opens up your worldview about things and can be helpful when you're crafting research ideas because now you can see your work in different perspectives. So by creating a team, you tend to minimize the workload. So you can focus more on the things that you do well. And so what you need to do is to find collaborators and teams that complement um, your style of working and also complements your strength. So you should know what your talent is so that you can also hedge with that and know what you can contribute into the team. And other things can be done more efficiently by others. So you can then delegate some of the work. So this is just a picture of my team way back in LaSalle. And of course, this is my family over here on the lower right-hand corner. So they are also part of the team. I don't think I'll be able to accomplish everything that I've done without their support. So some practices for research teams would be doing small problem-oriented groups, having informal group leaders. So I'm really proud of the team that we have way back in LaSalle because we're not just colleagues and collaborators, we're actually also friends. So just like what Mimi said. So we also have a research community in Malaysia. And whenever I go to Malaysia, it really feels like you're with family as well. So we just have to watch against the possibility that you do not have direction or focus within your group. Okay, I just have a few minutes, so I'll just rush on to the other things. Okay, the next would be hedging for your comparative advantage. So do 80% of your time on exploiting your core research area because those are things that are easier to do, but have 20% of your time to explore new things so that one should there be a time that your research area becomes obsolete, then there are other things that you can work on. Okay, so I'll just run through this briefly. So I was fortunate that my work is on only requires computers, and because of that, we do not need a lot of funding. So I'll just rush through this. So another one would be to consolidate your core expertise, focus on the things that you know and do best. Okay, and then the number 6 would be future proofing your research portfolio. So like I mentioned, it is a balance so that you can hedge against obsolescence. And so you should always be open to learning new things. Okay, so that is the summary of the key elements. I think I should end here since it's already 4:15. The others are just examples of what we've done during the pandemic. So just to remain relevant as well, we managed to use our work to address or to contribute towards the pandemic. All right, so I guess I'll end with that. So research is an essential aspect, and enabling environments are essential so that we can develop strong researchers and research teams. So research enables rigorous scientific response to emerging crises. Okay, so thank you so much. That would be all, but I'll be open to answer any questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you so much, Kay, for it's not easy to talk everything like within a very short time, but you managed to do
Yes.
it well, and it went very smooth, and we really can understand and grasp whatever that you want to share with us. So thank you so much for that. And before I would like to perhaps there is any participants that would like to ask question because before this I told them that if you have any questions, you can jot it down in the chat box in the chatting box. But maybe you want to turn on your video and ask the speaker yourself. Anybody? Okay, maybe while waiting for them to think of a question, my question to you, okay, how do you bring yourself like this is a really personal problem personal question, but we do experience this a lot. I mean, especially both of us, we do admit that our circle of friends are mostly men, right?
Yes.
You admit this, right? Because we have our friend and they are men, and sometimes we are the only women there, but we walk together with them, we travel with them, and we manage to, if they ask for late night meeting, we join them. We are like this. So how do you think, I mean, how is it easy for us as women to do that? I mean, is that, and or maybe we, is this like affecting our career if we do not do that? I mean, can you share something about that in that
Okay.
respect? You
Okay,
understand my
thank you.
question, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you very much, Mimi. Yes, indeed. I think the question has come up several times. Being in the engineering field, it's really a male-dominated field. So there are, I think I'm lucky that some of our collaborators, like Denny and Dominic and Raymond, they're really like family. So there are groups of people that they serve as mentors, they serve as friends, and in some way they help ease your being able to mingle with other people in the community. I think it's very important also, especially by being women. Sometimes there are challenges in the way that sometimes your ideas are not as heard um, as well. But by having friends and collaborators who support you and these mentors who support you, then I think in a way other people see you in a different light, and they then recognize your worth as well in the community.
So very true, okay, because I think yes, that's one of the points there, because our collaborator, despite the gender different, they are just like us. So we don't feel any different from them. Yeah, they are so kind, and we are also kind to them. I mean, because I remember during our PSE conference, Asia Pacific PSE conference, hosted by UTM in PWTC in Kuala Lumpur. You all attended the come down to Kuala Lumpur to attend the conference. And I remember from JB, I traveled And I never, this is a bit personal to all this, I never travel without my running shoes. But that time, I don't know why, because we are the organizer, I forgot. And then I told Dominic, I cannot, of not running even for a day. So how am I going to do that? I don't want to buy a new shoe. Okay, you use my wife's shoes. So she bring from her house, and she said, don't tell my wife, but my wife will kill me. It's okay. So that's how we take care of each other. Everybody is
Exactly.
so kind. So
Yes, yes.
especially to you, because you are supporting me as a friend today, coming as a speaker despite your busy schedule. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah, because I know it's not easy, because today you have a full schedule with your class. So thank you so much for squeezing in this event.
Yes, anytime. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's really nice to hear about also the, what
The
the
other
other
speakers too,
speakers
right?
have
Yeah.
shared.
Hope to see you again in the very soon after the COVID, this pandemic
Yes, I
thing, and
hope so.
we miss you in Kuala Lumpur. So thank
Yeah,
you so
I
much.
know.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mimi.
Thank you, Kay. So let us now, without further ado, yeah, only 5 minutes of the timeline. So let us welcome our last but not least speaker, our dear, yeah, medical doctor, Dr. Nor Belinda, yeah. So I'm very feel very guilty to her, yeah, because it's just like I said just now, received her first dose vaccination today, but she's still very energetic and enthusiastic, yeah, to still share with us on a very important topic that no matter you are a great researcher, you are a great scientist, or you are a great businesswoman, or whoever you are as a mother, yeah, as a wife, we all need to be healthy, right? Because we want to function to the maximum of our best ability. So we have to first protect our own self. Yeah. So Dr. Norbalinda, she graduated with MD, maybe medical degree, yeah, from Universiti Sains Malaysia. Her first posting was in Hospital Raja Perempuan Zainab II in Kota Baru in Kelantan, in the east coast of Peninsula Malaysia, for 2 years before she continued her service in Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. Yeah. Dr. Nobelinda then joined Universiti Teknologi Mara as a lecturer. She attained her master's degree in internal medicine and later finished her gazettement in Hospital Sungai Buloh, Selangor. Immediately after, she proceeded her passion in, oh my God, what is this? Palliative. This is very medical term. Palliative training in Selayang Hospital. Okay, sorry. It's a lightning. Yeah. Yeah. So she is currently a consultant physician with very subspecialty interests, including medical problems such as her specialty, yeah, in hypertension, diabetes, infectious disease, thyroid, and skin problem. So she is now working in Gleneagles Hospital in Medini, Johor Bahru, and her aim is toward a holistic approach of patients' care, including physical, psychosocial, our mental health, I believe, and spiritual. That's very good, yeah. And as a former medical faculty lecturer, her passion is towards continuous learning and education. Yeah, she has that also in her blood, that she wants to educate people besides practicing her medical practice among healthcare provider and community as well. She has been actively invited to give lectures, sharings, yeah, in various scientific and public forums. With that, Dr. Bell, thank you again for being with us today. So please, you have the session now. You can begin your talk whenever you feel ready. So you are welcome, Dr. Bell. Dr. Bell, we cannot hear you. Maybe you have to unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, we can.
so sorry for the glitch. Prof. Mimi, thank you very much, our esteemed master of the ceremony today, our moderator. Prof. Mimi has been a friend of mine since back in our secondary school. So before I start, can I just ask whether the slides has been shared with you guys?
Not yet.
Not yet,
Yes.
because okay, let me try again. Let's be edit. Okay. I'm so sorry. It was there before. Let me check again.
Or do you want to?
Lifestyle. Shall we use the earlier? Do we have the earlier ones?
We have, but or you want to
Okay.
send it, or you want to send this to the organizer to Syafiq? Sekejap Syafiq masih boleh ke kalau dia nak share the new slide? Boleh tak?
Boleh Doktor. Hantar dekat kita slide nanti kita share kat sini.
Okay, dia bagi dekat
Boleh.
WhatsApp Okay, Bel bagi pada saya kat WhatsApp, saya share dengan Syafiq IT and then he will display the slide for you, boleh?
Oh, okay. So basically just now yang kita share dalam ni tak dapat The one that we shared here?
Atau you nak guna yang lama tu? You want to use the original one?
Boleh.
Boleh ya?
Use the original ones. It's
Baik,
okay.
Baik. Syafiq boleh display yang tadi, yang she gave you earlier tadi, yang masa mula-mula tadi. Maybe he is sharing.
So,
I think there's
continuing to this. Boleh ke tadi?
I think because tadi dia dah pernah display dah masa in the beginning I saw your slide already. Ya. Syafiq boleh? Sekejap, I think he is doing it. I tak risau kan ni sebab kita tengah petir kuat ni. Tadi lost connection sekejap kan? Dia senyap kan sekejap.
It was so silent just now. I'm worried because I can't hear anything. Lepas tu my video, my presentation cannot download balik semula. Maybe we can do it or not.
Okay, dah. Dr. Bell kata, you hanya share slide tadi deh yang dia bagi you awal-awal tadi. Yang tu okay dah.
Slide tu tak ada pada kita orang ke?
Oh, tadi
tak ada?
Yang dia share masa mula-mula tu bukan dia share sendiri
Yang mula-mula tu sendiri ya.
Oh, dia yang share sendiri. Okay. Nanti maybe dia bagi pada kita ke? Kejap. Okay. Oh, dia kata you yang share sendiri tadi masa mula-mula tu.
Oh, ya ke? Okay. So basically from the keynote.
Atau you want to WhatsApp it to me and then we.
Okay.
I help
kita
you.
Kita try
Yeah.
So I'm sending it now.
Okay. It's okay, yeah. The last
I'm
one.
so sorry.
Oh, the last one is always the gimmick of the event, you know. So it's okay. Let me see.
It's still loading.
I think your connection.
Okay. Just now everything just kind of freeze.
Because now we are having a very, very heavy rain now in Johor Bahru. So that's why.
Same here.
Yeah.
With lightning and thunder.
And lightning and thunder, true. Yeah, just our connection also lost a few times just now in the faculty. So our IT people have to use their own hotspot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I cannot receive your ni lah, Beth. Your
tak boleh juga
I tak dapat any message from you, but is there any?
They're sending still. Hopefully can reach you on time lah. Finishing soon. So sorry for the glitch.
Oh, it's okay. Things happen. Things happen. Yeah.
So sending now.
Maybe the file also is quite big. Okay.
Most likely.
Okay. Dapat. Alright. Let me. Okay. Oh, you pakai key patut besar ni. Sekejap ya. Sekejap. Syafiq. I bagi pada you ya Syafiq ya. Syafiq bantu display ya.
Okay, boleh.
Okay Syafiq. I pun tak ada key punya ni. Nanti app saya tak boleh play. Okay, forward to Syafiq. Alright. Masya Allah. Okay, done. Syafiq jumpa dapat kat WhatsApp?
Okay, ada.
Okay, great. Alhamdulillah.
Boleh.
Okay. So Syafiq can start sharing the slide.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Bell. Thank you, Syafiq.
Thank you. Okay.
No problem.
So.
Kejap Doktor, dia downloading.
Downloading lagi ya? Okay. So I take this opportunity to thank Mimi for this very how to say anticipated talk. Very excited, at the same time humbled by all the high esteemed speakers, which is very inspiring. In fact, the first speaker is a Prof. Aisha just now. I think his talk is enough that I thought that maybe I should not talk anymore because it's finished.
She's covered almost everything, right?
Yes, definitely. It's very inspiring. That's the aim, because we want to build up and empower ourselves.
True.
So he kind of achieve all the target and our objective for today. And on top of that, we learned a lot from other speakers as well. And then this opportunity, Mimi, thank you very much, because you exposed us, as you know, to other department as well. Not only my circle is usually in medical field, but with you, I managed to connect with other people in chemical engineering, research people, which is very businesswoman, successful ones, okay, which is very, very inspiring. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you. Yeah. And you know, like maybe because she's a doctor, so she's very strong. Yeah. Kalau I was the one who got vaccinated, I like now lay down on the bed lah kan macam because she's a doctor, so she's a survivor kan di different. So
we have to unfortunately, not unfortunately, it's fortunate that we have to, we endure so many things to go through to get to this level. So this kind of, you know, little thing that we have to overcome.
So still downloading, Shafiq? Actually, I'm very looking forward to your talk because you know, right, I am crazy about this health. Walaupun I drink also this junk food.
Sorry.
When you want to talk about health, yeah, boleh? Kenapa?
Lain format ni, doktor.
Key ni format.
Sebab dia format key.
I think so too. Sebab key format tu. Boleh tukar jadi PDF tak? Tadi jadi PDF. Lepas tu kita tak apa, biar Syafiq boleh tukar jadi PDF tak, Syafiq? Tak boleh?
Tak boleh sih, doktor, sebab dia asal dia
I rasa kalau I memang tak pandai.
So how do I do it?
Macam you boleh save sebagai PDF ke PowerPoint ke, boleh ke? Boleh tak?
Okay, let me see. Kita export as PDF okay.
Kita export PDF.
Export terus.
Betul. Maybe dia tak compatible kan to be played.
So I create PDF and then we share. Let me share the one from here. Let me see whether we can share. Mimi, can you I already changed to PDF.
Okay.
But still here, the option of sharing is not there.
It's
the
okay.
Webex tak bagi.
You send back to me in PDF, in WhatsApp.
Okay.
And yeah,
okay. Okay, we'll try.
Yeah. Tapi I pun tadi nampak slide you tu. Cantik tu. I pelik.
Kan?
Tak boleh tak, heran tu.
Just now I can share easily, and this time around somehow I don't know why. Afterwards they just lost.
Tak apa, dah dapat dah. Nasib baik internet I ni bersuk. Sekejap ya. Syafiq get ready ya. I forward now. Okay, and then you play. Ni boleh ni Syafiq ni PDF.
Okay.
Nasib baik ada Syafiq ni. Okay. Right, okay Syafiq. Okay, so guys, this is the last talk. If you guys have anything for Dr. Bell, just use this opportunity. It's not easy. After this, if you want to ask for her consultation, you have to pay. No. So this is a free consultation for us. Come on.
Free consultation. Please ask. It's always good to share and educate people because most of the time people are afraid of things they don't know. So that's why I am very passionate about sharing the knowledge so that people understand what's going on and they can take care and take charge of themselves. Hopefully I can share this time. It's a PDF file ready.
Should be okay. PDF should be okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Syafiq, okay, boleh? Every time he's quiet, I'm nervous, you know. Huh, mana lah budak Syafiq ni. Syafiq, okay tak? Okay. Okay. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, so sorry for the glitch. And thank you, Mr. Shafiq, for helping me out with this. And again, thank you for the opportunity. And thank you very much for all the talk from other highly, high achiever speakers. So now this one, do I have to move it on my own or Mr. Shafiq will help me out? How do we? Yes.
When you want to move, you say next, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Can you hear me because suddenly everything's so quiet?
Yes.
Okay. Shall we start from the beginning?
Yeah, from previous. Okay.
Okay. So my talk today, we were thinking hard with Prof Mimi and we were thinking of something to catch our ears and our eyes and our heart. And I choose to talk about this topic because this is consistent with this year's International Women's Day motto, which is choose to challenge. So I took this opportunity to talk about the body itself. So busybody about your body. So what I meant by busybody about your body is, next. We know that all women are beautiful, okay? No matter what your sizes are, no matter what skin color are, no matter what your religions are. So every women are beautiful by nature, okay? We know that beauty of women cannot be separated in whatever way we are beautiful in our own way, okay? So next, but we know that we are still an individual, okay? No matter if you have the same height, same weight, same eye color, same hair color, okay? You are still an individual, right? So this is why we talk about taking charge of yourself because everybody will need different needs in themselves, in their body. So next. Recently, we were plagued by the world pandemic, okay? Sorry, because this is a keynote. Used to be keynote when the PDF is not, there is no animation. But we know that we look at the left side first of the screen. We were shocked 2 years ago, 1 year ago with this world pandemic of COVID-19. And still we are fighting the COVID-19. And on top of that, I would like to take this opportunity to share with all my colleagues, all beautiful women out there, there's another pandemic that's been plaguing the whole community in the worldwide, which is actually a metabolic syndrome. This might sound not familiar, okay? People might not know what is metabolic syndrome itself. So I would like to take this opportunity to educate you in the hope that, to educate myself as well, in the hope that we can take the opportunity to change ourselves, take the challenge and also reduce this pandemic to the maximum. Okay, next. So a little bit on the metabolic syndrome. Okay, metabolic syndrome has been a pandemic for the past, I think, about 20 decades. Okay, it was first recognized in the 1990s, and it's not a one disease, and it's a group of metabolic disorders that predisposing a person to be having high blood pressure problem, impaired sugar problem, high cholesterol level, and also the abdominal obesity. So this is very important. Why we talk about metabolic syndrome. Why is it so important? Because it correlates directly with morbidity, which is an illness in someone, and also the mortality, which is related to death. Okay, next. Okay. So when we talk about metabolic syndrome, people will start to talk about healthy lifestyle. I'm sure Mimi will know better, okay, because she is very in full-blown, wholeheartedly into healthy lifestyle. So I'm sure she might be even more knowledgeable than me. But let's share here, okay, what is healthy lifestyle itself? Okay, we can have a very, confused person thinking about healthy lifestyle related to food. Is it really? Is it related to exercise that we do every day? Or is it really related to the lifestyle that we do for, relaxation, meditation? Or is it the traveling itself that say that it is a healthy lifestyle? Next. So during this short period, we hope that we can share a few things about being busybody about your body, is to know where to start to take care of yourself, to identify what is the target and what would you do to take the right action, and also according to our motto this year, what should you do to challenge yourself. Okay, next. So let's talk about the prevalence of the metabolic syndrome in the whole wide world. Okay, so we do have in US about 1 in 6 people will develop this metabolic syndrome. So it's very common. Okay, Malaysia itself about 16 to 22%. India 35 to 43%, China about 30 to 31%, Indonesia 6 to 18%, Australia 31%. It's very interesting to read this through because you realize that Indonesia have a lower number, but this can be a lot of factor affecting it, including the population study, the area involved, okay, the people really inside the studies. It might differ that, it will change the outcome, the numbers of the prevalence of metabolic syndrome. Okay, so it's kind of very common and it affected the whole world. That's why it's a pandemic. So next. So we would like to talk about who are at risk of developing this metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome are usually first will risk those with high waist circumference. So if we look into the readings, it's very easy. Where do you measure the waist circumference? Take a tape, measure your waist, okay? And then for a healthy waist circumference, it should be less than 80 centimeter. Because if it's reach 80 centimeter, it's going to be high risk. It's more than 80 centimeter, it's going to be very, very high risk. Okay. So everybody have a tape at home, just take it, do it, and then you know your target. So this is what you need to do. You need to know about yourself first. So why is it very important to know what type of, what is the size of your waist circumference? Okay, let me talk about it. Are we sharing the slide still?
Syafiq, the slide lost from the screen. Okay, saya. Okay.
Okay, yes.
Jadi Syafiq
Thank
pergi ambil
you.
tali tip. Syafiq pergi ambil meja.
Terus measure sekarang I include also for men it should be less than 94 centimeter, but if it's more than that, it's already increased risk. More than 102 is considered as greatly high risk. So very easy. The other way to identify the risk of metabolic syndrome are what we call central obesity, where the fat accumulation actually around the central area, which is our tummy. Okay, so next. What is this central obesity, or the importance of the waist circumference itself? So we talk about this waist circumference, we're not talking about the shape of a lady. No, okay? We're talking about the visceral fat, the fat deposition inside the body, okay? So basically, around our internal organ, there are fat but it should be in a normal count. So it would cause all the other risk factors. So what happened, we can see on the picture, the visceral fat are actually the fat around the internal organ, which contributed to prolonged inflammation in the body. Our body cannot stand any inflammation, okay? Because the more inflammation happen, the more damage happen, like a pipe which is corrosive, and then it become narrow and narrow with the rust, okay? So this is what inflammation do to the body. We know that if somebody is having a same height, same weight, they might not have the same fat deposition. So the best way, optimum, very accurate, is by looking at the MRI, but it's very expensive and unnecessary. So I'm teaching you, just do the waist circumference, and then we know the target. All right, next. So
Shafiq, can you go to the previous slide? Sorry. I really want to know this. Why the ASEAN and the Caucasian, even though they have same BMI, but the fat punya position tu what is it different? Like ASEAN to the waist and then the Caucasian on the leg. Maybe you can explain that more.
Okay. Very good question. I purposely put there so that we can query the questions. So being Prof Mimi lah, she's very attentive. So basically, this is something to do with genetic, Mimi. Asian people, we are born with somehow a higher fat deposition compared to Caucasian. So our genetics somehow built up that in Asian people, we compare one Pakistani man in one American man with the same height, same weight, okay, and same age. And then we measure the body fat, and we found out that somehow in all the Asian population, the body fat is higher. The composition and the visceral fat inside the abdomen, inside the tummy, that surrounding our internal organs is thicker. So this is sometimes, then they investigate and they finally find out that it's related to our genetic. We are born with that. So that's why Asian people, they have a slightly higher risk of developing other metabolic diseases compared to Caucasian because of this factor. So this is what I emphasize on the same size and same height doesn't mean that you have the same visceral fat and also the same risk factor. It's going to be very individualized. Is it answering your question, Mimi?
Yeah, and I receive a lot of personal messages. So scared to. I'm also scared.
Okay. But that's why you call it. Is it choose to challenge, because we want to do the challenge to our body. Take action now. We measure and then we know what to do. Okay. So next one. Okay, waist circumference. Especially now with the pandemic ongoing, I just want to touch on the work from home. Okay, is it because it has been a new norm for us, and it's actually to help us to control the pandemic better. But does it help with our metabolic syndrome? Well, you'll be surprised. Okay, even though we know that study shows in US that we have this sitting disease, we don't wait until work from home that's causing the sitting disease. This sitting disease has been happening before, even far before the pandemic happened. But you can realize that nowadays people keep on posting on Facebook and sharing on Instagram that with the working from home, they have time to measure themselves, they have time to make time for themselves, they can do home exercise which they never know before, then they can choose to do the HIIT, which probably really like to do. So this is the part where, I said people can be surprised on what change actually make to our lives. So to put the cost for this working from home as causing metabolic syndrome is very wrong. Okay, it's not here because of our pandemic, but the metabolic syndrome has been there even before that because our lifestyle. So we can choose to change that even though we work from home, like Kathleen just now mentioned that you can choose to have time for yourself and also have time for the work. So this is the best timing arrangement that should be done by ourselves individually. Okay, so next. All right. The next one, apart from the waist circumference, is hypertension. Okay, people misunderstood most of the time. They ask me, oh, doctor, because I'm so tense with my work that I'm mentally tense, my pressure become high. So it's not only the mental stress or emotional stress. Hypertension is a term they use for the high blood pressure. So it's a disease term, okay? So hypertension is a disease that correlates to the high blood pressure. So what triggers hypertension in the first place? Yes, definitely stress can cause that, okay? Too much salt intake, okay? Age related, because when we age, our vessels become more hardened and stiffened. So what happened is the pressure become difficult and difficult because it's not as soft as it used to. And big part of it is because of genetic. Okay, so if you are Asian population, somehow we have a slightly higher risk of developing all these risk factors compared to our Caucasian friends. Okay, next. All right, so what is hypertension? The range of hypertension itself changed and varies from different part of the world, okay? Like in Malaysia, we consider as more than 135/85, considered as prehypertension or type 1 hypertension. In certain part of the world, they use 140 and 90 because it's more objective. But there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Basically, if it's more than 140/90, definitely we have to plan for medication because our heart, our body can only sustain and maintain the pressure of less than 140/90. This is why I tell my patient, you imagine if you have a narrowed vessels, it's just like a narrowed pipe. You open the pipe and you pump through a narrowed pipe. Okay, you open the tap water, you pump through the narrowed pipe. What happened? The pressure very high because it's narrowed. But if the pipe is open up, more softened and viable. Okay, what happened is you open the pipe, it runs smoothly. So this is what happened to our heart. If you have high blood pressure, the heart have to pump very high because it have to go through a high pressure. Cannot stand because it can only stand 140 and 90. So if it go beyond that, what happened to our vessels in the body? Especially in our eyes, in our kidney, okay? Our vessels is very small. In the kidney, it was 1/10 of our hair. Can you imagine how small the vessels in the kidneys are? Kidneys is not one organ. It's not one solid organ. It's actually filled up with all the twisted filters. It's so very, very small. And these small vessels can only sustain and maintain the function if it's less than 140/90. You give pressure more than that, what happened? The pipe ruptured. Okay, so that's why the kidney lost its function slowly because we have billions of vessels. The vessels ruptured, regularly on a regular basis every day. For next 1 year, it will drop about 5% if you have high blood pressure problem. Okay, and then that's why most of the patient which is not well controlled, average in 10 years time, they have kidney problem. So the medication is not the one that's causing the kidney problem. This is a very common misconception. It's actually the blood pressure itself that's causing the kidney problem. So what should we do? So we should take the responsibility to check our blood pressure regularly, okay? And we have to learn the optimal way of doing the readings. You cannot just wake up from the bed and suddenly check your blood pressure. It's not correct. It has to be 1 hour after wake up. And then when you do that, you have to sit down on the chair, put the machine on, and then sit for 3 minutes. Then you push the button. That is the optimal way of doing the blood pressure readings. And when we use the blood pressure reading, you have to use something which is certified, okay, not something that is man-made, handmade, okay. Certified from the pharmacy would be the best, okay. And then we should know the normally level according to our population local practice, and always refer to professionals for expert opinion. Don't go and buy medication on your own. It can be dangerous for you. Not all medication are safe because it has to be calculated and tailored to you and you only. Okay, next. I hope so far it's clear, Mimi?
Yeah, very clear and
Okay.
very menginsafkan.
Jadi macam penceramah kan. Okay. But that's a aim. You want people to know the situation because there's so many things that misunderstood in medical line. So okay, the third thing which is related to metabolic syndrome, who are at risk actually those with the dyslipidemia is a term, but it's actually basically understand by what we say abnormal metabolism of the cholesterol. So we know cholesterol. Everybody knows cholesterol, okay? Or we call it fat. If you can see here, the arrow showed a normal vessels in the heart with no yellow fat deposition. And then the next to it, you can see the pipe which is clogged up with yellow deposit. I usually name it rust, okay, in the pipe. So make people understand. If you have rust in the pipe become narrowed, so it's not flowing very well. What happened? It caused the obstruction, and this obstruction is not good because it caused the blood body or the heart become not having enough oxygen, mismatch, and what happened? They can develop heart attack if this happen in the heart. If this happen in the brain, it causes stroke. But we have to understand, all fat is bad. Basically, we have to understand cholesterol not all bad. Okay, next. Cholesterol is actually very important because it build up healthy cells. Okay, it maintain the collagen, it maintain the skin, maintain the cells, and so it helps with vitamin absorption. So you have to understand 30% actually coming from the diet, okay, the cholesterol, and the 70% actually produced by the liver. So cholesterol in the body is produced by our own liver. So when we say somebody is having abnormal cholesterol problem or high cholesterol problem, or another term is called dyslipidemia because abnormal in the cholesterol processing. So it's not because of diet alone. Okay, 30% by the diet, 70% is by our own liver. So the metabolism, the processor of building up the good cholesterol versus the bad cholesterol is imbalanced. So you can imagine if somebody is keep on poking out the road, another person keep on dumping in the bad cholesterol. So that is what happened in our vessels. So this is something which is we cannot change as well because 70% genetic. That's why they have to be helped out with some medications. Okay, but some people are very lucky they can do it with their own lifestyle modification because that high cholesterol mainly due to the diet. So those are lucky ones, but most of the time 70% need medications. So
So
causes of
if it's a genetic problem, can
yes.
it be treated?
Okay. The treatment, when you say treated, is very interesting term for me because yes, we can treat, but can it be cured? Okay, so those are the things is very tricky. If you want to treat me, you can ask me, Dr. Bell, can it be cured? Okay, then the answer will be different. Okay, yes, cholesterol can be treated. You treat, it become normal. But the moment you stop the treatment, the metabolism will gain back the abnormal wiring. We can just imagine the processor of the cholesterol in the liver is just like a CPU, CPU of our computer. So what happened when the CPU malfunction, the rest of the processor cannot function. So that is what happened in genetic issue. So if you need something to boost up and improve the function, you have to remove the, for example, antivirus in the computer. Same thing with the body, the liver need the booster to improve the liver to get back the normal processor of the cholesterol. So it can be treated, yes, but it cannot be cured, but it can be controlled with medications.
Okay.
So there are few things that we need to look into other than the diet itself. Cholesterol also can be contributed to other diseases. That's why it's very important. If you are not so sure you do have high cholesterol, please get help, get advice. Okay, check. You might have other diseases that predisposing to the high cholesterol. Okay, the next one is high sugar level. Or the other term people will use commonly, we understand, is actually diabetes. All right. So what is high sugar itself? By right, normal sugar is range about, this is what we talk about the sugar from the blood, okay, not the one that we check from the finger. This is from the blood. I mean, both are blood, okay, from the plasma because it's directly from the heart. So it should be about 3.9 to 5.6. Sometimes we can up to 6.0, which is still acceptable. And we do have the readings for the fasting one, random one, which is after meal. And then we have this HbA1c, which is a 3 months average control. I'm so sorry, this is so factual, must be boring. But okay, just remember, less than 6, good. Okay, more than 6, not good. So it's related to the abnormal function of the pancreas. So why patient develop high sugar? Everybody eat sugar. Everybody in Malaysia eat rice. Everybody in the world eat carbohydrate. But some people develop diabetic problem. So this goes back to the genetic issues as well. Okay, somehow Asian population, we are born with lesser pancreatic cells function. Most of the time, Asian people born with only 50%. Okay, pancreas is actually the factory responsible to process the sugar. Okay, we have sugar coming to the body, we eat, sugar goes into the system, body trigger, body say, hey, pancreas, please work. Sugar inside the body, you process the sugar into energy. So what happened? The pancreas will work, beta cells work, they produce insulin, the processed sugar turn into energy and then discard it. Very easy. But for some reason, because of genetic problem, majority Asian people will born with lesser function, so not sensitive to the sugar as most people, right? That's why Asian people, they have younger diabetic, a younger age, and also they have diabetic, a very lean body. They don't need to be big. They don't need to be oversized, overweight. No. Asian people have diabetes, a very lean body. Okay. This is the reason because we are born with lesser pancreatic cells. So diabetes is not related to the food itself, but it depends on how much of the reservoir that you have in your body, how good your factory of processing the sugar is working. All right. So that's why if let's say somebody with high sugar, yes, what can you do to improve the factory to work better? Exercise. Exercise wake up the pancreas so that it can produce better insulin. Okay. Another one is we can boost up like an engine which is not working very well, not very good. So you give booster, you give extra energy, oil to keep the engine very smooth. So that is the same thing that medication do to the pancreas. So when you have diabetic, I mean with somebody with high sugar, always make a lifestyle modification. And remember, it's not 100% because of diet. Yes, diet play a role as well. You have to reduce the burden of your pancreas so they don't work so hard. So reduce the carbohydrate intake, but at the same time, it's actually because of the genetic problem.
Will there be
Okay.
any side effect of taking this medication?
Very interesting question, very relevant. Okay, so the side effect of medication that we talk about is very tolerable. If I talk about something which induce and increase the sensitivity of the pancreas, we call it metformin, which is used in pregnancy, used is what we call PCOS, which is ovarian syndrome patient, polycystic ovarian syndrome. The side effect is just bloatiness and tolerable within the first 3 days. Okay, and then after you don't have the side effect anymore. And newer generation of that medication will have even lesser side effect because medical is always evolving. Will produce something better, lesser side effect, more effective. So if you are worried about the side effect, very common question. All my patients will ask the same thing. I will explain straight away. Okay, I'm going to start you on medication A. The side effects are 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have this, expected until what time? You do develop more worse symptoms, more than usual, come back and see me, we adjust the medications. Because diabetes is not only one medication. We have so many approach now and newer medication to improve the cells in the pancreas itself up to that level, which is a very good thing. Okay. So bloatiness is actually the common side effect lah, basically. Okay. So let me just answer Prof. Mimi's question. I can imagine that the next question is whether the medication can cause a kidney problem, which is very commonly asked by my patients as well. Correct, Mimi?
Especially by the older people kan, macam mak-mak.
Yes, exactly. I can imagine. Okay, so basically, this is a part where I usually tell my patient, the disease itself, the sugar itself is toxin to the body. Okay, when I say toxin to the body, to make people understand this very easily, I know my other, medical colleague may be, very unhappy, but this is how I tell my patient. You imagine sugar, the nature of sugar is very sticky, right? So our vessels is very small. Like I told you, it was 1/10 of our hair in the kidney, okay, in the eyes. So that's very small vessels. If you take something sticky, what happened? It caused the vessels to collapse together. Another one thing, because high sugar is inflammatory reaction. Inflammation is, for example, you have some wound or you bump into things or you rub into things or you have a wound, you won't have one direct clean cut. It's going to be oozing water, redness, swollen. So that is what inflammation is. And imagine that happen in our vessels. This is what sugar do. All right. So most of the time people misunderstood that the medication causing the kidney problem. Let me tell you, study shows that why diabetic patient, they don't feel anything, we still treat them. Okay, because we know that the high sugar, if it's more than 8%, okay, it will HbA1c more than 8% persistently, okay, will cause the inflammation to be very bad in the whole body and it will reduce your kidney function by 10% per year. Everybody will lose our kidney function anyway without disease. We lose our kidney function 1% every year. But if somebody with diabetes, research showed that they lose the function slowly because of inflammatory reaction, and it clump all the vessels and damage all the vessels, causing all the scarring in the body, and it lose the function 10% per year. You imagine if it's not treated properly, that's why in 10 years time patient develop kidney problem. That's why we initiate medication early to prevent all the complications. Most of the time those patients who develop kidney problem, it's not because of medication, it's because of the poorly controlled sugar. So if you're on medication, make sure it's achieving the target. No point taking medication for the sake of taking medication. You have to take medication to achieve the target. But if you take medication, never check, never consult, never know whether you're in control or not, the inflammation is still ongoing and it's a waste of time. And that is the reason why the kidney function deteriorated over time. Okay, it's not the medication, but the sugar itself, which is silently damaging their vessels. Does it answer the questions, Mimi?
Yes.
Okay.
So meaning don't be scared to take medication, right? Don't be scared because it's always a better
Don't.
choice. Okay.
Exactly. That no other doctor will give you medication for the sake, oh, okay, you take this so that in future hopefully your kidney damage. No, we are going to help people. Our intention is to help people to prevent the complications. So be rest assured, we are in this field to help people. Okay. So the danger of the metabolic syndrome. Why I'm talking about this? Why is the danger? What is the significance? Because it causes 2 times higher risk of developing heart attack, peripheral vascular disease, and stroke. And then we know that heart attack, what is heart attack is. And then if somebody with metabolic disease, they can have 5 times higher of developing diabetes mellitus in future, full-blown diabetes. And of course, they are higher risk of hypertension, sleep apnea, cholesterol problem, and so cancers. Please don't be surprised. Diabetes is actually one of the risk factors to develop cancer. Very common, highly associated with other cancers as well. All right. Okay, next. So now, take action, steps to be taken. We have so many tips. I don't think I can teach you, you know this everywhere. You can get it easily from the internet. But we talk about physical, emotional, and spiritual approach. So about physical, we always think of the food first. Okay, rule of quarter. You are what you eat. So we have to look into what we eat. Rule of quarter meaning if you take a plate, you divide by 4, your carbohydrate should be 1/4. Okay, 1/4 is for your protein, another half of the plate should be your vegetable, which is not the typical Malay culture. We always eat full plate of rice, little bit of protein, a little bit of vegetable. But we're going to change that now because we know already it's not happy. You still feel full if you eat the quarter, and half. Okay, don't be hungry. Hungry is not helping. If you prevent yourself from eating, your body will give the signal that you are in a hunger strike, that you don't have enough energy, you don't have enough food. The next time you eat, the body will keep everything in. That's why those who want to lose weight, if you skip the meal, you're going to gain weight. It's not going to help you. Okay, do not skip meal. Always eat meal on time and always watch out for the portion. And then we have to know what type of food that we're taking. Okay, this is very common lah. All those processed food not advisable. I'm not saying that you cannot cannot eat at all, but it should be in a moderation. Okay, and then more vegetable, less fatty food, and less carbohydrate. Very common. Okay, next.
Well, number 12.
Yes.
Number 12 tadi kita orang tak nampak because on the screen macam ada blockage. Point number 12 apa? Tip number 12.
Number 12 Sekejap tak nampak kat situ.
Oh, you tak nampak juga Okay.
Ada. I have here. Okay. Number 12 is dietary supplement. Okay, sometimes we don't know whether we have enough supplements ke tak. Maybe you can take vitamins, calcium, magnesium, phosphate. So those are the things that you can do to add on at whatever you take. Okay, so it's a dietary supplements. Okay? Alright, so on the physical side still, so exercise, when we say exercise, what should we do with exercise? Is it walking enough? Is it 2 kilometer walking is enough? So we have to know our target. Ideally, research showed that 2 hours and 30 minutes walking per week. Okay, so you can divide the timing about 5 times per week, 30 minutes each time. Okay, you do moderate intensity like aerobic activity or brisk walking. So this is very specific. And then this helps with the calorie that you need to lose in every day. And then the muscle strengthening activities you should do, okay, like the yoga, stretching, okay, at least 2 or more days a week that improve all the major muscle bulk, okay. So like heavy lifting, that one helps, right? At least 2 times a week. So this is as a guideline. Okay, not everybody is able to walk. Okay, doctor, I have very bad knees. How do I walk? I cannot do brisk walking. Yes, no problem. Then we try swimming. Swimming also very good for the heart. Okay, in fact, it can fall into the high intensity workout. But it depends on individual. Always do what your heart can, what your body can stand. Don't push yourself too hard. Always go slow and improve over the time. Okay. And then if we say another one, exercise. What exercise is it? Then we can talk about the 1 hour and 50 minutes vigorous intensity. I know Robbie is doing this. She's been doing this high intensity workout. Okay, which is very good. It saves time, lesser duration, at the same time giving you enough activity for the heart to pump. Okay. So, okay. The next, the rest is I think what I want to mention about just now. If somebody already have the disease, okay, it's not the end of everything. Okay. Somebody young, diabetic, do not feel frustrated. Okay. You cannot blame anything. This happened, right? So if you have disease, please, hypertension, be it cholesterol problem, be it diabetic problem, you have to remember, take action about yourself, okay? Comply to the medication and aim to achieve normal level, not for the sake of taking the medication for that medication only, but to achieve the target is most important. Who's going to help you to do that? Go to your general practitioner, go to see your own physician, get help from the professionals to make sure that you achieve the target needed, not for the sake of taking medication, for the sake of taking medication. No point. Okay? Because medication is not that ruin the kidney. All right? Next. All right. So, this is the second part of the steps to be taken, which is just we talk about physical. Now we talk about emotional. Okay, I know this is a busy slide, but it's just some evidence or studies that showed that results from the mental health stress revealed that compared to men same age, women 55 and younger had 3 times greater risk of reduced heart flow to the blood. This is what we call heart disease, we call heart attack. Okay, for some reason we don't know why women who are stressed out, they have lesser perfusion to the heart, so they have higher risk of developing heart attack compared to men, which is very interesting because the only perfusion reduced, circulation reduced in your body when you are stressed is actually to the heart. Okay. So interestingly, there were not any gender differences in blood flow during the physical stress test. When you do exercise, actually there's no reduce in the blood flow. But when somebody is mentally stressed, emotionally stressed, it reduces the flow to the heart. And this happened only in women. Very interesting study. Okay, so what should we do? What we should not do? Okay, what we should not do? Stop. Think of what people think. Okay, you are yourself. Don't people of what people think of you. Okay, because it's not healthy for your emotion. Okay, and do not lie to yourself. This is your limitation. Be truthful to yourself. Okay, what you can do and how to improve. Not to push yourself harder that you cannot maintain. For example, you know that you've been looking like me myself. There were days when I'm on call that I don't have even time to go home and see my children. There were times lah, not every day. Okay, there were times when I don't have the time to cook for them like I want to because I love to cook for my family. So used to be frustrated with that. Then I realized I don't have to because this is my responsibility. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm passionate with my work. But at the same time, I cannot reach everything. You cannot do everything at the same time. So don't lie to yourself. Okay, be truthful. Okay, look, this is my limitation. I have this level. Be happy what I can do. If I can't do this, I will replace with something else. Okay. And then don't sacrifice for the wrong thing. This is usually, those related to domestic violence. Okay. Don't be quiet. Fight for yourself. Okay, don't be the victim because to be a victim is by choice. to be happy also by choice. Okay, you choose to be happy and do things the right way. Okay, if you have something which is stressful, find help, get somebody to talk to, because help is everywhere. Be empowered, do not feel victimized. Okay, all right. And express yourself. You're not happy with things, please say it in a smile, right? Like Prof said just now. Okay, if you said no, say no with a smile. So express yourself. You cannot do this because you feel burdened. Stop. Say no. Okay, learn to say no, but in the proper way, right? And then stop finding fault. There's nobody fault. Everything happened for a reason. Okay, if this happened like this, okay, it's not because you're not doing your well. You're not enough as a mother to take care of your children. You're not enough as a mother because you cannot iron your husband's shirt. It's not your fault. Okay, and then this communication is most important, right? And then stop wanting what other people's having. It's very wrong. Be proud of who you are, okay? And then be happy for who you are. If you find somebody who are very talented, she has everything in the world, she's so successful, it's okay. Be happy for them. You don't have to. You don't have to compete with them, okay? So this is the part where you have to embrace the differences. And our differences actually make you an individual, okay? Right, next. And the last but not least is actually the spiritual, okay? What you should do, be grateful. Number one rule. No matter how the situation is, we have people at their lowest of their life, very ill, very unwell, very unhealthy, or for some reason they don't have enough to take care of themselves and the children. But first, be grateful because you're still alive. You still have your family. Or if somebody is not married, it's okay. Be grateful because you have done for yourself, your parents. If you don't have your parents, be yourself to be the best of yourself. Okay, so first be grateful for everything, small things, every day, every single breath. Be grateful. Okay, and then be mindful. Well, by meditating, or Muslim, we believe in the prayers. Prayers actually help us to be dependent on the people. Kebergantungan. Okay, we have something to hold on to because everything happens for some reason. There's nothing to do with us because decision and universe role on its own. Okay, we cannot control everything. And most importantly, think positive all the time. But doesn't mean that you have to be bullied. Okay, bully is not positive. Think positive, meaning that you, if situation, puts you down, for example, presentation not doing very well, okay, it's okay. There must be a reason. There must be a reason for you to learn from the scenario. Maybe not during that time, but in future to improve yourself. Always something happen for a reason, and always for improvement. Okay, and then I think we're going to end our talk soon. The next one. So I hope from this talk today, when I say about busybody, please be busybody about your body, okay? Know where to start. Where to start? With yourself. With yourself, because your health is your responsibility. Your body is your responsibility. There's no one else responsible for you. If you have your family, you have to take care of yourself first so that you can take care of your family, okay? So know where to start. Where? With yourself. Know your measurement, do your checkup, take the professional helps, and then identify what is the target. So if you do the measurement, it's not about the shape, it's not the figure, okay, but the fact of the numbers that you need to maintain, right? And then take the right action. What to do, plan it, okay, and always be realistic. You know that you have the perception of how things are, and then go for it, and then you do it, and you don't postpone, you do it now. And then choose to challenge, which is consistent with our motto this year in the Women's Day. So please, I hope from today we can be busybody about our body. And the last one, I think we're going, I hope that from here, from shrugging our shoulder, don't know what to do, and we can be somebody with objective, and we know exactly, choose to challenge because you have the power to do so. With that, from me and everyone else, thank you for your attention, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bal. This is very, very worth waiting. Yeah, despite of all the hiccups that we had just now, very worth waiting. Dan macam menginsafkan betul lah. Sebab doesn't mean like you said kurus ke. You never know, inside tak tahu macam mana kan. So
Exactly.
because to be honest, I think actually in our culture, especially I don't know Malaysian ke, we rather not to know. Kalau kita punya prinsip kan, mati-matilah, tak apalah daripada kita tahu, ayo so worry dan nanti stress kan. So maybe like your talk now today open up our, it's okay, it's not the end of the world, there's always treatment, always solution kan. So you give us people like us macam hope and motivation to go to do our checkup. Okay, so thank you so much.
Okay.
We have a
Thank you very much.
we have a question.
Yes.
From our friend, our batch, our schoolmate. Tapi itulah in the group we talk about celebrity kan. Now we want to ask about this thing kan, in this platform. So her question is, I won't mention name because she asked me privately. The interval, the tips that you gave just now, the 12 tips. One of them is interval fasting. So for the interval fasting, how long is the longest allowable, like medically?
Okay. There's a study in Canada about this. About 5 years ago, they started this intermittent fasting. We call it IF. Okay.
Yeah.
So ideally, they did a study research and then they compare to which level or duration actually compatible with our lives. And the study showed the optimum timing of intermittent fasting is 16 hours versus 8 hours eating. Okay. That 16 hours fasting somehow it triggers it long enough to trigger the body to wake up the pancreas so that we can produce beta cells, okay, so reduce the diabetes. At the same time, it improves the heart function and motility, that it improves the circulation to the body. At the same time, you burn out just nice amount of burning to the body fat rather than something longer than that, which can cause ketosis, extra unnecessary burning that's causing the kidney damage. Okay, so this is optimal, but there's nothing wrong to those who actually choose to fasting. I have patient actually choose to fasting 18 hours, but as long as the kidney function okay, they don't have any liver problem, they don't have any malnutrition, then go for it. But optimally, the study showed is 16 to 8.
So this 16 have a reason because we've been doing that like forever. Tapi kita kita membuta main buat je lah. So there is a study. So there is a reason because 16 lah they wake up whatever kan tadi you cakap hormone semua tu. It's interesting. Oh, that's very
interesting.
Good. Very good. Okay, now I have a question. Okay, sorry, you continue first. The question can come later. Okay, explain more.
Okay. Because medical ni, Mimi, we always based on evidence. Okay, when you do that something, okay, we have proof. Oh, this person are fasting 24 hours. You know, they lost weight straight away within 1 week. Okay, but there is no evidence it's going to be safe for other people. So this research actually a big study. They collect few hundred to few millions, few thousands people, and then they choose. And then they choose what the outcome, they regularly check the blood. And then these are the evidence to say that, okay, everything decision from medical always by evidence.
This is what sometimes they call like clinical test lah habar kan. Macam
exactly.
Okay, understand. Okay, tak boleh membabi buta. Based on proof. Betul tak? Okay.
Always.
Okay. So one question from my ex-student. Now she's working already. Jiaen. Thank you for joining us, Jiaen. Okay, so sending you. Okay, dia punya soalan adalah 6 out of 7 of her aunties, and her mom is one of them, either have high blood pressure or high blood sugar. They claim that this is due to genetic. But really, can this disease be inherent or inherit to the next generation? Because she's also like she's the new generation. Is this something that she can prevent by practicing healthy lifestyle, that she can avoid it in her generation?
Okay, Jaen,
Yes.
All right.
Thank you,
assume,
Dr.
Yeah, it's actually very good questions. And I assume you are Chinese?
Yeah.
Yes. The reason I'm asking is that we did the research, especially in Malaysia. For some reason, Chinese population have a higher familial hypercholesterolemia, which is a genetic issue with the cholesterol. It's an abnormal metabolism of the cholesterol. And then this cholesterol issue can occur as young as 18 years old, 20 years old. And then in Chinese, very lean, small size lady. Okay. And then the question is whether we should treat them or not. Okay. If you ask me whether high blood pressure is a genetic problem, indirectly, yes. Okay. Because most of the time when somebody presented with young hypertension, it's my job to investigate. Why are you having young hypertension? Is it because of hormonal problem? Is it because of tumor somewhere? Is it with the kidney problem? Is it because stone problem? So because we want to find something which is treatable. If it's because of tumor, remove the tumor. The blood pressure go away. If it's because of hormonal, you improve and correct the hormone so that the blood pressure can be normal. But if we check everything and then not turn out to be everything is normal, so we know that turn out to be, we call it this essential hypertension, which is because of genetic problem. When I say genetic, okay, this is related to the size of blood vessels in the body. Okay, our blood vessels is our pipe. It's actually just like a tree, main trunk, and then we have all the branches everywhere, okay? So imagine the flow in the pipe should be flowing smoothly and then, you know, very nicely. But those with high cholesterol problem, genetic problem, okay, what happened is the pipe, somehow they are born a bit narrow compared to other people. Okay, and this narrowing of the vessels is something that you cannot change because it's genetic. You're born with it. Okay, and then over time, because of the cholesterol, you imagine pipe which is supposedly this size, and then you have some cholesterol embedded here, become smaller, and then a little bit here, smaller, and then smaller. That's why high blood pressure happen, because the heart have to push very hard at the narrowed vessels, so high blood pressure happen. Okay, so whether this is inherited because it's genetic problem, yes, you can get from your you know, your generation. Study showed that if your grandparents get it at the age of 60s, the next generation will get it at the age of 50s. The next generation will get it at the age of 40s. The next generation will get it at the age of 30s. So it actually upgraded 1 decade for the next generation. So we kind of anticipate that things like hypertension and diabetes occur at a very young age nowadays. I've seen patients, diabetes, hypertension, essential without any secondary cause at very young age, in the early 20s, because their parents got it at 30s. So whether we should be worried, if you do have that strong family history, please get yourself checked early. Okay, and then get advice. Okay, and then we have to calculate your risk factor. Not everybody with abnormal cholesterol will straight away start medications. No. Okay, it depends on the risk factor as well. So the answer is it genetic? Yes. Can it be inherited? Definitely yes. Okay. Can it be avoided? Yes. Get yourself checked. Make sure you get treated early if needed to. If not, you do the lifestyle modification from now on. When I said lifestyle modification, when you say healthy lifestyle, just now, your physical part, okay? We have to do the exercise, the diet control. It helps. But most of the time, because the familial hypercholesterolemia is a genetic problem, yes, you might need help with medication because exercise may not help much. Okay, but please do exercise still. Okay. All
Thank you.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Thank you for the interesting sharing, Doctor.
Okay,
Okay,
Dr.
yeah, and
Bell,
thank you.
there is a
Yes.
question here. She asked,
Uh-uh.
she said she really wants to today find answer to this. What is
Uh-uh.
your opinion on Atkins diet? Is it okay? Is it affecting, some people say affecting the kidney? Is it okay long term or okay only for short term or not okay at all? What does medical doctor think about it?
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Atkins diet is something that has been there for the past maybe 10 or 20 years ago lah. Okay. It is actually from Atkins. He get this idea saying that high protein diet can help to reduce all the risk factor of diabetes especially and cholesterol problem, because the understanding at that moment was that loaded carbohydrate is actually the reason for you to develop all the diabetic problem, cholesterol problem. But we have to understand that Atkins diet, if it's done properly with regular measurement, regular blood taking, should not be a reason. The issue is most of the time with extreme high protein diet, which is Atkins is a high protein diet. Okay, this still goes back to our genetic. Okay, when we see somebody with high protein diet, our kidney is a filter. Not everybody's kidney can filter that high protein level. Okay, you imagine protein is a big compound, it's a big molecules, and it cannot pass through the kidney. All right, if it's too burden to the kidney, the kidney cannot stand any longer. The kidney, the you know, the filter got broadened out, and the protein will come out. So that is what we call bocor protein lah, the leakage of protein because of too high protein overload. So if you ask me, we do have so many different books on diets lah. But Atkin so far is not becoming any. I mean, I think it loses its popularity nowadays lah, because not everybody can stand that. Because the long term showed that the kidney can be burdened with high protein. So far, if you ask my opinion, Mediterranean diet would be the option, because somehow
Mediterranean, right? Yeah.
because it balance out for our Asian people. It balance out. Okay, we do have the salmon and the chicken plus the big salad and cheese, but we don't have that too much protein until you stop everything else. Okay, so Atkin itself, you have to make sure your body first. Do check up, make sure your kidney is okay. You don't have any other problem, no kidney problem, no stones, no tumor. Then you may survive the Atkin, but provided you are well nourished, well hydrated. Okay, because you don't want to burden the kidney too much.
And maybe this Mediterranean diet, like you said, is somehow compatible to us because dia ada sikit-sikit similar to DSSS, the apa diet suku-suku separuh.
Suku-suku separuh.
Maknanya
Exactly,
everything
exactly
in
the same.
moderation. Maybe something like that.
Yes, it's actually suku-suku separuh tu kan. Suku-suku separuh tu is just like Mediterranean.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
You don't omit anything out. So yeah, it's very good, Dr. Beth. Thank you. Okay, ada pula soalan ni tak balik lah. So this will have to be. That's why I put you last. Okay. Is it okay to consume soy protein product supplementary? Not like you get it naturally, but like tofu, tempeh is good, but supplementary, like from, sorry, not to mention the brand like Shakti, the herbal. What do you think about that?
Okay. Same thing. Alright. Our body actually can process that certain amount of food needed and energy needed and whatever nutrition needed and whatever extra, the body will get rid of it.
Okay.
Alright. Okay. So we have a system in the body. If let's say you take too much fruits, that if your kidney is functioning very well, you're drinking very well, your liver functioning very well, whatever needed will be absorbed, which is not needed will be discarded. Okay. But the issue with these supplements, okay, not naming anything, right? Issue with supplements is not tailored to individual. It's different from medications. With medication, we indicate it. There is indication to give the patient, and then we have a calculation on the weight, the height, on the blood level of the patient. But supplements supplementsif you ask me specifically, I cannot answer, but in general, supplement is not actually tailored for individual. Okay, one supplement can be good for one person A, but it can be very harmful for patient B.
Correct.
Okay, so that's why it still goes back to your background. Okay, background disease, background body, baseline metabolism of your body.
Underlying.
For example, somebody with gout. Just say gout. Okay. They are not supposed to take any soy-based supplements because it's going to cause more uric acid and more problem in future. Okay, so those, for example, we say natural is very natural, no worries, it's not going to do anything wrong. Okay, for example, so one person with a kidney disease, okay, then they say, okay, eating fruit very good. So this kidney patient took the banana very harmless, but not to kidney patient because they have high potassium. It causes a heart block and the heart stops suddenly. So this is the part where we always have to know what's good for us and what's not, and it has to be by evidence. Doctors are not actually shaman. We can actually know from far, oh, I know what disease you have. You don't have to tell me, I can see from afar. No, we have to have evidence. So not everything natural is good and not everything semula jadi itu is healthy lah. It depends on your body. So soy based, if it's supplements, if your body is okay, whatever you take, you get that extra, the body get you. But if I can say lah, tahu tempe will be even tastier than
Boleh masak sambal kan?
I choose to eat than take the supplements lah. That's me lah.
So the supplement taste like sedap ayam tau. Sometimes I cannot consume. I used to beli jugalah supplement yang sesuai tapi ya Allah macam I cannot consume ni dah. But it depends on people.
Yeah.
Tapi I like the way what you said just now. Sebenarnya our body ni is very smart lah ya. Allah tu dah buat our body very smart. Kalau lebih dia buang. And sebab I ada baca buku, actually kita bukan kata extra intoxic apa je lemak. Actually our body also can be affected by extra nutrition. extra vitamin kan. So I was like, I ingat lagi banyak vitamin, lagi banyak nutrition bagus tak? Dia akan burden juga. That's why kita digalakkan puasa tu kan, to get rid of this. So it's very very interesting So I tak berani nak tanya is there any more questions sebab I takut ada lagi. Of course kita nak sebab nak belajar kita pakai kat you because I know you pun nak balik ke apa kan.
It's okay.
Today very interesting yeah. I learned a lot and I pun fikir cuma last question from me last as a closure. If there is because nowadays yang zaman sekarang we call it the modern disease lah sebab orang sekarang we have money kan, we can buy anything that we want to right. So, ini pula ujian kita kan untuk orang yang orang kata mampu ni. Jadi dia sebenarnya affect our hormone kan, perasan tak? Then dia warm lah, rahim lah kan. So kalau misalnya lepas tu kita punya period lah apa. So let's say we go to doctors because kita dah sedikit-sedikit rasa macam ada masalah hypo ataupun hyperthyroid kan. So they give us medication to regulate balik our hormone kan. Because kita easily boleh tahu juga kadang-kadang kita punya period jadi tak stable ke apa.
Betul.
Adakah by taking the ubat then katakanlah alhamdulillah benda tu make our body kembali back to a normal punya system? Adakah once we stop the ubat dia come back ataupun adakah we have to depend on it forever throughout our life? Macam mana tu Dr. Bear?
Okay, very good question. So basically when we have somebody with hormonal imbalance, okay, for example thyroid lah, my job usually what I tell my patient, first thing we investigate why you have the abnormal thyroid. Why is it high? Is it because of abnormal gland ke? Hyperactive ke? Dia kena infection, dia radang ke? Ataupun sel dia besar sangat, so dia banyak lah kan. So we need to know why that actually high. And then if it's low, why is it low? Sebab saiz kecil ke? Dia parut ke because of the inflammation so it becomes smaller, or is it because of something blocking the processor? So everything when that happen we need to know why. Okay, after we know why then we can investigate. For example, somebody with multi goiter memang tu actively causing the hormone to express too much, remove the goiter so you don't have the disease anymore. For example,
remove tu tak cacat ke badan dia? I mean dia punya badan masih boleh function like other people kalau dia
So interesting. Okay, removal tu depending on the assessment, the person who assess lah, because not everybody we send for operation. We have people very big goiter, but the goiter is not functioning, it's not producing anything. You don't remove, you keep. Okay, you don't do anything. But if let's say it started to become hyperactive and causing problem, because for example thyroid lah kan senang sikit nak cerita. Hyperthyroid is not something that you just tak apalah thyroid tinggi je. No, hyperthyroid will cause the heart continuously, somebody running non-stop. You imagine somebody running non-stop, what happened to the heart? Tired. So what happened when the heart tired? Dia tired, dia lemah. So jadi lemah jantung. The heart become swollen up, dia duk pump like loop. Dia jadi macam mana? Cepeh. So it's not functioning very well, it's not circulating very well. So this is what the thyroid do in long term. So that's why we treat thyroid. It's not something yang benign je, tak ada apa-apa, tak. So if it's well controlled with medication, you don't have to do anything, right? And if let's say you don't need medication, you don't have to do anything. But if let's say it's affecting your metabolism, it is affecting your function, okay, irritability, sweating semua, then you have to do something. Medication not helping, the next option is we may need to consider for removal. And removal tu banyak jenis pula. Kena tengoklah removal tu, is it a partial buang separuh je ke, or total thyroidectomy ke. Okay, it depends on risk factor pula. Ada nanti dia buat ultrasound, this is high risk lah, nampak looks like some cancerous risk in future, then remove altogether lah. So what are the side effect of removing the thyroid? Dapatlah hypothyroid. So you don't have enough thyroid, that very easy. Hypothyroid easily treated. Itu bagus dia, because you can just give supplements whatever you don't have. You don't have enough hormone, you give the supplements. But the rest usually for the rest of your life lah. Macam tu.
And the supplement of the life tu pun okay. Doesn't tak effect health lah, okay.
No, because you just give whatever that you need.
Pandai.
Sebab kita tak ambil extra. That's why you have to get follow up regularly, right? So you have to check your thyroid. Okay, with this level, you need this level of medication. And then in future, for example, something happen, your thyroid somehow, regenerate, produce their own thyroid dah. Then you get follow up, dah tinggi, stop lah. Tak payah. So it depends on why it happened in the first place. Is it removable or not? If the cause can be removed, remove the cause first. If it's not removable and medication is helping, stick with medication. Medication not helping, then we go for other approach. So there's a steps of doing things lah. So not everything kata, oh, because of hypothyroid, now I stop, I become very bad. It's not because you stop the medication, but because your body need the medication.
Understand.
Okay?
Bukan sewenangnya bagi kan? Only if the body need it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Actually, your sharing today make us feel like doctor is everybody's best friend pula. Dulu nak tak tobat lah kan, rasa
Tanya.
selagi tak terhempak ke apa memang tak pergilah jumpa doktor tu kan, sorry tapi kita rasa macam nak buat lah medical check up yang bersungguh-sungguh kan, yang memang fully kan. Okay, thank you so much, and I dapat banyak
Thank you.
yang kata terima kasih sangat sebab mereka rasa this is very meaningful punya sharing. I think perempuan memang perlukan talk macam ni sebab we don't have time for ourselves sangat nak pergi baca buku ke apa kan. So things like this help us a lot, dan ramai yang say thank you to you and also the rest of the 4 speakers.
Thank you.
I don't know for your time and so on. So I have to stop now, even though I can ask Bear anytime because she's my friend.
Yes, please do.
Kalau ada soalan pun can always ask us. Yeah, we are very free to help you all in any capacity that we can help. So again, thank you to to Dr. Bell, to our Professor Nasa, Professor Rina, Kak Salisa just now, our Professor K, and of course our dear Dr. Bahir, and our unsung heroes again, Shafiq and Khalid. Without them, we cannot do anything today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And to all of you, thank you to all our audience yang stay to the end. I hope you really get beneficial knowledge and ilmu today. Okay, so with that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah.
Dr. Mimi